On the morning of the 12th day of the Lunar New Year, Wyatt got a call from Michael. He said Judy had just told him to head over to the bridal shop to try on the groomsmen and bridesmaid outfits. Wyatt had planned on going in the afternoon, but the moment Cecilia heard they were trying on clothes, she got incredibly excited. She was up early, putting on makeup, and when she saw Wyatt still lounging in bed, she physically dragged him out of it. The two of them left the hotel at 8:30 a.m. and, after a 40-minute drive, finally arrived at the bridal shop. Michael and Isabel were already there, and they'd already changed into their respective outfits. Because it was a little cold, Isabel had a down jacket thrown over her dress. Victor, Vivian, and Judy were there too. Victor and Vivian had just returned from Riverwood a few days prior. Vivian had taken Victor to meet her side of the family over the holiday. Seeing the two of them together now, it was clear that Vivian's old anxieties had finally been laid to rest. Wyatt, you're finally here. Michael, what happened to you over the holiday? How'd you get so round? Michael sighed. You can blame a certain someone who made me take her out for good food every day, only to take a few bites herself and stuff the rest in my stomach. Isabel hip-checked Michael out of the way. With her arms crossed, she huffed. Don't you dare be passive-aggressive with me. I didn't hold a knife to your throat and force you to eat. Are you guys all done? Yep. Just waiting on you and Cecilia. The groomsman's suit was a standard men's formal outfit, while the bridesmaid's dress was a high-quality gown, but distinct from the bride's. The wedding dress was pure white, while the bridesmaid's dress was a shade of soft gray, a subtle way to distinguish the main event from the supporting cast. After taking the clothes, Wyatt and Cecilia went into the fitting room together. They were out in just a few minutes. Vivian asked, "How is it? Does it fit okay?" Wyatt nodded. "Mine fits great. Cece, what about yours?" "It's a little tight up top, but it's fine." Isabel circled Cecilia, pouting. "How come I feel like this dress looks better on you than it does on me?" Cecilia said, "No, it doesn't. They're the same dress." "Vivian, what do you think?" Just as Vivian was about to speak, Wyatt walked over with a grin, draping an arm over Cecilia's shoulder. "You know why, don't you?" "Why?" Isabel asked. "Because..." Wyatt started, then shook his head. "You know what? Never mind. I shouldn't say." Isabel stomped her foot impatiently. "Say it. Now." Wyatt switched tactics, a sly smile on his face. He leaned in conspiratorially. "I'll tell you a joke instead. What's the difference between this dress on Cecilia and this dress on you?" Isabel waited. Wyatt delivered the punchline. "About 2 cup sizes." The bridal shop fell silent for a few seconds. Puffed. Judy, who had been watching from the side, burst out laughing. Her laugh set off a chain reaction, and soon Victor, Vivian, and Cecilia were all chuckling. When the meaning finally hit Isabel, she glanced at Cecilia's chest, then down at her own. Her face flushed. She immediately raised a tiny fist and marched toward Wyatt. "You goddamn pig." Sensing danger, Wyatt quickly ducked behind Cecilia. They chased each other around Cecilia a few times before Cecilia finally grabbed Wyatt by the ear and held Isabel back. All right, let's not waste time. The lady of the hour has a lot to do today." Only then did Isabel back down. Vivian smiled. "Honestly, everything's pretty much ready. We don't have much else to do today besides trying on the clothes and then doing a run-through at the hotel this afternoon." Wyatt asked, "We don't have to do anything else, right?" "Basically not." Victor stepped forward. "Hey, when you guys come to get the bride, take it easy on me, okay? Don't go too crazy with the games." "No way," Isabel declared, moving to Vivian's side. "You only get married once. We have to do it right. Right, Vivian?" "Exactly." While the others chatted, Cecilia was captivated by the wedding dresses on the mannequins. She glanced at the time and saw it was still early. She walked over to Wyatt and asked a little shyly, "Can you ask the owner if I can try on a wedding dress too?" Before Wyatt could even speak, Judy walked over with a smile. "Of course you can. Try on whichever one you want." "You heard her," Wyatt said to Cecilia. "Pick whichever one you want." Cecilia quickly chose a gown studded with tiny diamonds. As she took it to the fitting room, Victor led the rest of the group to the seating area. Wyatt had just sat down and exchanged a few words when Cecilia's voice called out from the fitting room. "Wyatt, Wyatt." He got up and walked to the door. "What's wrong? Can you come in and help me with the zipper in the back?" "Oh." Wyatt pushed the door open and went inside. Isabel, resting her chin on her hand, watched Wyatt disappear into the women's fitting room. TSK, she muttered. "Vivian and I are right here," and she asks Wyatt to help. The nerve. Vivian, sitting beside Victor, smiled. "You know, I feel like those two look more like a married couple than we do." "How long have they known each other?" Vivian's face softened. "Over 3 years now. They met the summer before college. I remember it so clearly. Back then." As Vivian was reminiscing about the past, the fitting room door was pushed open quietly. Cecilia emerged, dressed in a pristine white wedding gown. The fabric made her skin look even more luminous. Paired with her delicate features, she looked to Wyatt like an angel who had just descended from the heavens. So beautiful. Cecilia, you look breathtaking in a wedding dress. Cecilia spun around in front of the mirror, a happy smile blooming on her face. She never imagined she'd be wearing a wedding dress so soon. Cecilia, turn around and look at Wyatt. He's completely stunned. Cecilia did as she was told, turning to look back at Wyatt. The two small dimples reappeared at the corners of her mouth, and her beautiful eyes crinkled into crescent moons. Her smile, in a single glance, outshone all the painted faces in the palace. The classic line of poetry seemed to become reality in that very moment. Wyatt snapped out of his daze and quickly pulled his phone from his pocket, handing it to Isabel. Quick, take a picture of us. Fine. Look at the camera. Wyatt, just a little smile. Don't grin like a total goon. Just take it. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Wyatt took the phone back and looked at the picture, nodding in satisfaction. Not bad at all. Great shot. Of course. I'm a pro. Actually, it's mainly because I'm so handsome, and Cecilia is so beautiful. Have you no shame? Wyatt ignored Isabel, looking at Cecilia with deep affection. Don't worry, he said softly. I'll have you in a wedding dress for real very soon. MMM. I can't stand you two. Seeing them getting all lovey-dovey again, Isabel rolled her eyes and stomped over to Michael. After trying on the clothes at the bridal shop, Victor and Vivian left as noon approached. Wyatt, Cecilia, Michael, and Isabel went out for lunch together before heading their separate ways. In the car, Cecilia took Wyatt's phone and sent the picture Isabel had taken to herself. She considered touching it up, but realized the photo was perfect as it was. The lighting from the shop's display cast a natural filter on her face. She quietly saved it. Seeing this, Wyatt suggested, you should send it to the family group chat, let your mom see. I'm not sending it. What, you're shy? Cecilia let out a little huff and ignored him. When they got back to the office, everyone was busy at their desks. Passing the conference room, Wyatt saw Sam meeting with a client. They seemed to be having a pleasant conversation, so Wyatt didn't interrupt. But just a few minutes after Wyatt had settled in his office, Sam knocked and came in, a smile on his face. Wyatt, I think you'll be interested in this project. Want to take a look? What is it? Intelligent robotics. It involves software, AI, stuff I don't really know about. But they're graduate students from Carnegie Mellon. They've won a bunch of robotics competitions before. Wyatt held out his hand. Let me see the proposal. Sam handed it over. As Wyatt took it, Sam explained, the team lead is a local from New York. He's about to graduate and already has an offer from a major company, but he's not satisfied with it. He saw the University Entrepreneurship Support Program on our website and came straight to us. The proposal is pretty bare bones. He hasn't even registered a company yet. Let's go talk to them. Wyatt flipped through a few pages and saw Sam was right. It was mostly a concept. He stood up and walked directly to the conference room. The young men inside immediately stood up. Wyatt extended his hand. Hello. Hello. Sam, who had become much more adept at handling social situations, made the introductions. This is our boss, Wyatt. The young man with glasses was clearly surprised, but quickly introduced himself. His name was Logan Bell, 24 years old, a graduate student at Carnegie Mellon, studying in their top-ranked software engineering program, a program on par with the best in the country. How many people are on your team? Wyatt asked, getting straight to the point. 7, all from CMU. Yes, some are algorithm engineers, some are computational vision engineers, others are in automation. The 7 of us won the National Robotics competition together, and we also got second place for a bionic robotics project. Wyatt nodded. So what is it you're hoping to get from us today? I've already received an offer from a car company for $100,000 a year, but the work doesn't align with my interests. I'm looking for funding to start my own robotics research company. As far as I know, the current level of technology can't produce a robot that's truly viable for everyday domestic use. Which is to say, the commercial value of this project is not very high. You understand what I mean. A flash of disappointment crossed Logan's face. Seeing this, Wyatt deliberately paused. But, hearing that single word, Logan's head shot up. Wyatt continued, if there's no commercial value, we can create commercial value. Just because it's not useful now doesn't mean it won't be in the future. I'm willing to invest in the future. However, your proposal doesn't even have a basic direction. It means you haven't really thought about what you want to do. You're just treating this as a hobby. Logan's excitement fizzled out as quickly as it had appeared. His expression seemed to say, you're right. I really haven't thought it through. So, we're not going to invest in you. Because you haven't even planned your business direction, you're not suited to be a boss. Wyatt's words were like another needle piercing Logan's heart. He stood up and said, "Well, sorry to bother you." Just as he was about to leave, Wyatt smiled. "But I have a second option. See if you can accept it." "What option?" "I'll provide the money. I'll build a company. But you guys do the work. As for compensation, I'll give you two choices. First, I'll offer you double the salary from your other offer on a 2-year contract. Second, you contribute your technical expertise for equity. I'll give you company shares, but your pre-tax salary will be capped at $2,000 a month." Logan's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" "Of course. But we need to be clear about a few things up front. I can give you time, but if you can't produce results, we go our separate ways." "You want us to build robots?" Wyatt shook his head. Just as Logan was about to speak, Wyatt cut him off. "I want you to build robotic dogs. It should be pretty similar for you guys." "Robotic dogs?" "Yes. The practical applications for humanoid robots are too limited. I want you to build robotic dogs. They could have functions like guiding the blind, providing security, or monitoring environments. That would at least have commercial applications. Or they could have functions for search and rescue, delivering supplies, or even engaging targets, which might attract interest from special government departments. In short, it needs to be something that can be mass-produced, not just a display piece." Logan was so excited he could feel sweat trickling down his back. Although four-legged robots already existed in the U.S., their applications were narrow. There was so much room for improvement. With the addition of artificial intelligence and advanced AI algorithms, the potential for breakthroughs was enormous. "I can give you time to think about it, but I need an answer before the end of the month." "I don't need to think about it, but you're not alone. You have to convince your team." Logan paused, then nodded. "Okay, then, Mr. Wyatt, could I get your contact information?" Wyatt patted Sam on the shoulder. "Give him a business card." Sam quickly produced one of the new cards the company had just printed for him and handed it to Logan. After taking it, Logan left the conference room, buzzing with excitement. After he left, Sam asked, "Who's going to be in charge of this project? If they agree, give them $200,000 to start. Let them tinker for a while and see if they've really got the goods. You and Carter don't need to worry about it. Later this year, I'll have Chris keep an eye on it. He's always been interested in this kind of stuff." Sam nodded, asking no more questions. That evening, Wyatt sent the photo from the bridal shop to the family group chat after all. A few seconds after the picture went up, his mother, Sarah, popped up in the chat. "Sarah, wow. So beautiful." Sarah's emotional support was always on point. Miranda followed up immediately. "Miranda, gorgeous. Your dad is crying over here." Wyatt quickly sent 3 question marks. Wyatt. Hey, you have to be fair. Aren't I handsome?" Wyatt. "Guys, talk to me." Wyatt. "Hello." Sarah and David knew their son's antics all too well and ignored him. As for Miranda, she was busy consoling Charles. The moment he saw his daughter in a wedding dress, the nearly 50-year-old man had burst into tears, his mind flooded with images of his precious baby girl in his arms, looking up at him with big, watery eyes, calling him daddy. The next day was Victor and Vivian's wedding. Wyatt and Cecilia were up at the crack of dawn. After a rushed prep session, Wyatt first drove Cecilia over to Vivian's place, then met up with Michael to drive to the Yu family's estate. The Yu residence was truly buzzing with activity today, the house packed to the gills. It was a good thing Wyatt and Michael were groomsmen. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have been able to squeeze inside. After grabbing a bite to eat, a fleet of Rolls-Royces, all the same color and model, lined up in front of the villa around 9 o'clock. Victor hadn't wanted to make such a big fuss, but his father, Richard Yu, wouldn't have it. "He's my only son," he'd thought. "He's finally getting married. Why should we be modest? So what if I'm showing off? Who in this country doesn't know I'm the chairman of the Gold River Group? Who doesn't know I'm rich?" At 9:09 a.m., to the sound of firecrackers, the entire line of Rolls-Royces started their engines in unison and proceeded smoothly down the highway. Normally, they would have gone to the bride's home to pick her up, but since they were from different cities, Vivian was staying at another villa in Westchester County. After all, if the Yu family had one thing in abundance, it was houses and hotels. Michael looked at the line of cars behind them, shook his head, and smiled. "When I get married, I'm just going to keep it simple. I can't handle a spectacle this big." "Will your dad agree to that?" Michael laughed. "My dad will definitely agree. He likes to keep a low profile, too. I'm just worried Isabel won't. She probably won't mind. What girls care most about is how good the wedding dress and reception dress look, and how many carats the diamond ring is. I just feel like it's all a formality anyway. The simpler, the better." "Same here," Wyatt said with a nod. "Besides, the guests only care about whether the food is good or not. The driver, who seemed to be a distant relative of Victor's, overheard their conversation and joined in. The three of them chatted all the way to the bride's location. Once they arrived, Wyatt and Michael quickly got out. Vivian's family had set up 3 challenges for Victor and his groomsmen. The first was at the main gate, the second at the living room door, and the third at the bedroom door. There were also 3 groups of defenders. The first was a group of children, the second was the bride's family, and the third, naturally, was the bridesmaids. The first challenge was the easiest. Victor stuffed a dozen red envelopes through the gate, and the kids eagerly opened it for him. The second involved answering questions about the bride, the day they met, the day they started dating, the day he proposed. Luckily, Victor remembered all the dates. After passing the first 2, the third was straightforward. Isabel had designed 2 little games. The first was for the 3 of them to eat pieces of bread into the shape of the word love. The second was a ring toss. After the games, there were photos and a toast. They spent nearly an hour and a half there before Victor finally carried Vivien out of the house. The motorcade then proceeded grandly toward the hotel. The 4 of them, Cecilia, Isabel, Wyatt, and Michael, chattered away in the car. Besides Michael, the other 3 were all new to this. Wyatt was relatively calm, but Isabel and Cecilia were bubbling with excitement. The older driver figured out the relationships between the 4 of them. After chatting for a bit, he turned during a red light and asked with a smile, "Young lady, let me ask you a question. How you girls do chores with such long nails?" Isabel answered without missing a beat, "Oh, I don't do chores." She then pointed at Michael. "I'm his mistress. His wife does all the housework." Michael's face turned green. "What are you talking about?" Isabel stuck out her tongue and deliberately didn't answer. The driver laughed, thinking to himself, it's great to be young. Upon arriving at the hotel, Wyatt, as a groomsman, said a few words of blessing on stage, and his duties were mostly done. During the reception, Wyatt saw J.C. again. His father probably couldn't attend due to his official position, but since Victor's father, Richard U., seemed to have a personal connection with him, J.C. had come in his father's place. He was seated at Wyatt's table again. Wyatt opened with a joke. "G.C. has my cousin texted you since she got your number?" G.C. smiled and nodded. "Yeah, we've chatted." Hearing that, Wyatt knew his cousin Mandy was genuinely interested in J.C. That girl's personality was simple. If she didn't like someone, she wouldn't even bother looking at them. If she did, her eyes would light up like stars. But Wyatt had no intention of meddling. Fate was fate, and you can't force a connection. Halfway through the meal, however, J.C. politely asked, "Mr. Wyatt, is your company hiring summer interns?" Wyatt paused for a moment, then replied, "We are." "What? You're already looking for an internship as a sophomore?" G.C. nodded. "Yeah, a lot of my classmates started interning as freshmen. I want to get some experience. If your company is hiring, I'd be willing to work for free. No salary needed." Wyatt frowned. "You're not planning on going into public service after you graduate?" Wyatt figured that with his father's position and his own education, he could easily get a government job. There was no need to intern at a private company. G.C. didn't answer directly. "I'll figure that out later. I don't have much else to do this summer, so I think an internship is the best choice for now." "All right, just let me know when the time comes, and I'll set something up for you." "Okay, thank you." Michael chimed in with a laugh. "Hey, our company is hiring interns too, you know? Why not consider us?" G.C. explained, "See, Investments was founded not long ago and is in a growth phase. Apex Capital is already a large, established firm. I think I could gain more experience at Mr. Wyatt's company." As fate would have it, just as they were talking, Wyatt received 2 messages from Mandy. "Mandy, cousin, what are you up to?" "Mandy, I'm coming back to NYC on the 16th. Are you going to pick me up?" Wyatt quickly replied, "At a wedding reception." "Wyatt, guess who's sitting next to me?" "Mandy." "Who?" "Wyatt, that guy you like, J.C. "Mandy, don't talk nonsense. When did I ever say I liked him?" "Wyatt, oh, so you don't like him." "Wyatt, I was thinking of setting you 2 up for an internship together this summer." "Wyatt, but since you're not interested, never mind." "Mandy, cousin, Mandy, I didn't say I don't like him." "Mandy, what's this about an internship?" "Mandy, hello? Mandy, answer me." "Mandy, please, cousin, I'm begging you." "Mandy, from now on, if you tell me to go east, I will never go west. If you tell me to go north, I will never go south. Mandy, in my next life, I'll be your pack mule." After the wedding, the next day was the Lantern Festival. The festive atmosphere in the big city was muted. Some companies were even open for business. Wyatt and Cecilia went to Elaine's place to celebrate. 4-month-old Evan was even cuter now, his face chubby and his legs adorned with roly-poly baby fat. The moment Wyatt held him, he laughed and called him a little porker. Cecilia quickly covered Wyatt's mouth, signaling him not to say such things. With the end of the Lantern Festival, 2017 truly began. Tuesday was Valentine's Day, but on Monday, Cecilia had specifically messaged Wyatt, telling him not to come over. She had 2 classes on Tuesday afternoon, so a visit would be short, and she worried about him driving back and forth so far at night. Then she said something that surprised even Wyatt. She wrote, "Valentine's Day is just an excuse. When people are in love, every day can be Valentine's Day." Wyatt praised her for becoming so articulate. Cecilia replied that she had learned it all from him. The latter half of February seemed to be perpetually rainy and damp, making it inconvenient to go out during the day, but perfect for sleeping soundly at night. On weekdays, Wyatt maintained his routine, a 3-point circuit between the company, the cafeteria, and his dorm. His advisor, Ms. Sutton, messaged him, urging him to attend at least a few classes, but Wyatt always used the excuse of being busy with the company. He wasn't lying. The company was indeed very busy. Logan Bell from CMU had gotten back to Wyatt within a week, confirming that his entire team was on board. They had chosen to take equity, eager to build a bright future through their own efforts. Wyatt, seeing their passion, had been willing to make such a generous offer. He had the legal department draw up a contract for the 7 of them, and had Chris register a new company. The name was also Wyatt's idea, Deadless Robotics. Wyatt had initially wanted to rent them a space in the same office building, but it was almost fully leased. The only available spaces were entire floors, and the rent was too expensive. So, he had Chris rent a 2,000 square foot space for them in an adjacent industrial park. On the 24th, a Friday, Wyatt had Logan bring his team to the office. Then, Wyatt drove them all in the company's 7-seater van to their newly rented space. "From now on, this is where you'll work. List all the equipment you need and give it to me. Finance will wire the funds directly to the Deadless Robotics Company account. You can buy whatever you want. I won't set your working hours or dictate your work plan. You arrange everything yourselves, but you only have 2 years. If you can't deliver a product that satisfies me after 2 years, we part ways amicably." "Mr. Wyatt, what if we're short on staff? Besides the equipment costs, I'll leave an additional $200,000 in the company account. How you use it is up to you." "Okay, no problem. If you need anything else, contact me anytime. Good luck." Wyatt handed the keys to Logan and left. Logan, holding the keys, exchanged a look with his teammates. Their eyes were all filled with dreams for the future. They never imagined that after graduation, they could all stay together, continuing to fight for something they were passionate about. "Is the Logan situation handled?" Chris asked, intercepting Wyatt as he returned. Wyatt nodded. "They're adults. We've given them everything they need. The rest is up to them." "All right. That guy you introduced me to, Will Shung from the Gold River Group, just contacted me. He's asking when we plan to break ground on the office building." "Almost forgot about that." Wyatt pushed open Carter's office door. He and Chris walked in, and Wyatt said directly, "Carter, by the end of this year, we're selling off all our OFO shares in 3 batches. "All of them? Are you sure? OFO's valuation is still climbing." Wyatt nodded. "Sometimes, growing too fast isn't a good thing. I've noticed some negative press about bike-sharing companies recently. Let's cash out. Can you find buyers? If we sell now, a lot of people will be fighting for it. Then raise the price. We need to start construction on the building before April. We need the cash. So, cash out $30 million to start. Sounds good." Carter nodded. "All right, I'll handle it." As Wyatt left the office, Chris caught up with him again. "Our building can only be 7 stories tall. How much are you planning to spend on it?" "You figure out. Just make it look high-end, impressive, and classy. One more thing." "What?" "Paige is giving me the silent treatment again. I was thinking of getting her a gift to smooth things over. What do you think is best?" Wyatt laughed. "Most women can't resist 3 things: gold, silver, and flowers. So, my advice is to just get her a bottle of Pepto-Bismol." "Huh. Go to hell." On rainy days, the sky darkened early. By the time Wyatt arrived at the music conservatory, the rain had just stopped, but water still dripped from the eaves and leaves. Cecilia came downstairs, and they quickly drove to a ramen shop. In the lingering chill of spring, nothing was more comforting than a steaming bowl of hot ramen. Wyatt slurped his noodles and said to Cecilia, "You need to come with me to the house tomorrow. Are we starting the renovation?" Wyatt nodded. "We're having a little groundbreaking ceremony tomorrow, but they said the renovation will take at least 4 months. The timing should be perfect. By the time it's almost done, it'll be summer. We'll have to go over every day to open the windows and air it out." "So, are we going back to Riverwood this summer?" We still have to go back, but we probably won't stay for long. Construction on our office building is also starting in the first half of the year. There's a lot to do. I'll be wherever you are. Why aren't you drinking your broth? I don't want to. Drink it. Be good. After leaving the ramen shop, they went straight back to the hotel. After showering, they were in bed early. Wyatt snuggled deep into the blankets, his strong arms wrapped tightly around Cecilia's waist from behind, his head resting against her chest. Cecilia's small hands held his head. They whispered about little things, one after the other, until their conversation trailed off at some unknown point. Soon the only sound in the room was the soft rhythm of their breathing. The renovation company's team and the designer were already on site early in the morning. They had cleared out all the old furnishings and hung a "Happy Start to Construction" banner on one of the living room walls. Since Wyatt was coming from farther away, he didn't arrive until nearly 10 o'clock. The ceremonial first hammer swing was scheduled for 10:10, for the auspicious meaning of perfect 10. "Mr. Wyatt, it's almost time," the project manager said. "When the moment comes, we'll all shout, 'Happy Start to Construction,' and you'll swing the hammer against the wall. That'll be our official start." "Sound good. I'll come by whenever I have time from now on. We've already confirmed the design plans, so I need you to keep a close eye on the site for me." "Don't worry, sir. We'll make sure you're completely satisfied." Wyatt and Cecilia spent most of the morning at the house discussing details with the designer, mainly about their daily habits and preferences. Cecilia had many requests. The bathroom vanity needed to have built-in lighting, and the closets in the dressing room needed strip lighting too. When it came to these things, women were always more thoughtful than men. When you're alone, home is wherever your parents are. But once you have someone you love, you start to want a home that belongs completely to the two of you. On the way to lunch, Cecilia was still daydreaming about moving into the renovated house with Wyatt, a constant smile on her face. Wyatt played along, his gaze fixed on the dimples at the corners of her mouth, unable to look away. "Oh, right, I forgot to tell you something." "What is it?" "I think Ashley is about to start dating someone." Wyatt pressed. "What's the situation?" Cecilia shook her head. "I'm not sure about the details. The guy's a year older than us, goes to your cousin's school. Isabel saw his picture on Ashley's phone and said he's really handsome. But we've never met him, so we don't know what he's like." "From NYU Tish." "Yeah. Do you know his name?" It's, oh right. His name is Trevor Dayne. Sounds pretty artistic, but I still think your name is better. My name is pretty ordinary." "Not at all. Not ordinary in the slightest." Wyatt licked his lips, about to ask what was so special about it, when Cecilia quickly added, "It's getting cold again. Stop licking your lips, they'll get chapped. It's a habit. If you really can't help it, you can lick mine." "What did you say?" "Nothing. I heard you." So what if you did?" In the cafeteria at NYU Tish, Ashley sat down nervously. This was her first time eating at another university's cafeteria, and the one who had invited her was a guy. She and Trevor Dayne had met on the subway one weekend. He had been the one to ask for her number. One was studying acting, the other music. Both were art students with plenty of common interests, so they had naturally been talking for a while. All three of her roommates were in relationships and doing well. On weekends, Ashley was often the only one left in the dorm. She had been wanting to find a boyfriend for a while. So, when Trevor asked her out the previous night, she had agreed almost without hesitation. Today, she had woken up early to do her makeup perfectly. Now, while Trevor was getting their food, Ashley quickly pulled out her phone, switched to the front-facing camera, and checked her appearance. Seeing Trevor approaching with 2 trays, she quickly smoothed her bangs and put her phone away. "Try the food at our school's cafeteria. See how you like it." "Thanks. You're welcome." Trevor was about 5'10", but the shoes he was wearing today had thick soles, so he looked closer to 6 feet. He told everyone he was 6 feet tall. Most guys tended to round up their height. Ashley, who had talked about cutting her hair short last year, hadn't actually done it. She had just trimmed it slightly, and now her hair fell to about her shoulders. Taking the chopsticks Trevor handed her, she habitually tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, picked at the rice, and began to eat daintily. Although she hadn't been directly involved in her roommates' relationships, she had learned a lot from observation. She knew that at this stage, she couldn't appear too forward. A little bit of reciprocation was enough. And based on their conversations and the fact that he had asked her out, he didn't seem like Leo's type. That meant she didn't have to be the one to break the ice. "What do you usually do for fun on weekends?" As expected, Trevor tossed out the first topic. "Besides going out to eat with friends, I mostly stay in the dorm. I've already explored all the fun places around here during my first 2 years. Don't you get bored staying in the dorm?" "It's all right. I'm used to it." Trevor smiled. "I probably won't be at school for much longer. I've already signed with a talent agency. For the next few months, I'll probably be in intensive training at the company. It's basically what they call being a trainee. You sign with an agency? Yeah. Do you want to become famous? Trevor paused, a small smile on his face. I don't think there are many art students who don't want to be famous. Besides, I'm studying acting. Then shouldn't you be going into acting? Why the trainee route? Trevor paused, a small smile on his face. There are too few acting opportunities. Without connections, it's hard to become an actor. You haven't been exposed to it, so you don't know, but once you're in this industry, you realize there are a lot of backroom deals. People like us, without a background, won't get a second look from directors, no matter how good our acting is. But for people with connections, they can land lead roles even if they've never studied acting. Is that so? Yeah. Being a trainee now gives you a much better chance of debuting. If I can break through that way, I can always cross over into acting later. Ashley said jokingly, then you must be really good at singing and dancing, right? Singing is SOSO. Dancing is okay. I've been taking street dance classes since I was a kid. Ashley nodded and continued to eat. They chatted off and on. After lunch, they left the cafeteria and strolled aimlessly around the campus. My dorm is just up ahead. Want to go in and take a look? Just kidding. There's not much to see in my school. It's pretty small. Your school is probably bigger, right? Probably about the same. Joey. Trevor suddenly raised his hand and called out. Ashley followed his gaze. On the other side of the path, two guys with backpacks were walking in the opposite direction. When they heard Trevor's voice, they glanced over, but for some reason, they didn't respond and just kept walking. Ashley frowned. Are they your classmates? Oh yeah, they're my roommates. Roommates? Ashley pressed. Then why didn't they say hi to you? Maybe they didn't hear me. Didn't hear him? They clearly looked this way. Ashley thought, blinking as a flicker of curiosity sparked within her. After Carter put the word out that they were looking to sell their OFO shares, several investment firms immediately came knocking, some of them even more powerful than Apex Capital. As long as they sold off the first batch of shares, the company wouldn't face any short-term cash flow problems. Money sitting in an account only depreciates. The only way to get a bigger return is to put it to good use. Wyatt knew very well that the reason he was able to grow investments to its current scale in such a short time was mainly due to the advantage of his rebirth. But now his time was running out. Once the timeline caught up with him, it would be much harder to make money. He had to use the next couple of years to set up more long-term retirement projects. The arrival of Logan and his team had sparked many new ideas for Wyatt. If he couldn't find good projects, he could just find people to create them himself. As Wyatt was pondering which industry to enter next, he received a rare call from Kai Haoyu, the CEO of MiHoYo. The main point of the call was that MiHoYo was moving from its original studio to a new office building the next day. It was a big day for them, so they were holding an event. As the only shareholder outside of the three founders, Kai Haoyu wanted to invite Wyatt to attend. Wyatt readily agreed. After hanging up, Wyatt's jumbled thoughts suddenly became clear. That's it. The gaming industry is ridiculously profitable. Why don't I make games? Simple games like Flappy Bird or HQ Trivia didn't have a high barrier to entry. The battle royale genre hadn't fully exploded yet. Games like Black Myth, Wukong probably hadn't even been conceived. With this in mind, Wyatt quickly got up, went to find Chris, and told him, over the next couple of days, help me register another company, a game company. A game company? Chris frowned. What for? Didn't you already invest in MiHoYo? The barrier to entry isn't high. I just had an idea. I'll find a group of college students and have them work on a project as a trial run. The initial investment won't be much. Fine, you're the boss. Do what you want. Chris couldn't be bothered to ask any more questions. He was swamped with work lately. The company's new project management system, confirming the plans for the office building, and 100 other miscellaneous tasks all required his attention. He didn't have the energy to babysit Wyatt's whims. The next morning, Wyatt drove to MiHoYo's new office building. He took the elevator up. Since they had just moved in, Wyatt walked straight into their office area without any trouble. He remembered clearly that the first time he had met Kai Haoyu, their whole team was crammed into a small office, and even the three founders didn't have separate rooms. Now, they had seriously leveled up. Hello, can I help you? A young woman, probably in her early 20s, walked up to Wyatt, looking at him curiously as he scanned the room, about to message Kai Haoyu. Wyatt smiled. I'm looking for Mr. Kai. Is he around? The woman asked, do you have an appointment? Just as Wyatt was about to reply, Kai Haoyu returned from outside. Seeing Wyatt, he called out, Mr. Wyatt, and hurried over. Xiaolan, this is Mr. Wyatt from Investments, and he's also a major shareholder in our company. Next time, don't leave him standing at the door. I didn't know. Wyatt shook his head and smiled. It's fine. I'm not here often. Let me give you a tour first. Sure. You guys have really made it. Kai, how you laughed. It's just a small operation. Nothing compared to C. Investments. But life is definitely more comfortable than before. How many people do you have now? We mainly hire technical staff and try to keep other positions lean. I don't want a company to get bloated. All in all, I think we have around 80, almost 90 people. But after the new year, we started a new project, so we might need to hire more. Hiring more? Yeah. The new project is an open-world adventure game. Kai How You led Wyatt over to the planning department. He walked up behind a young man with glasses and patted him on the shoulder. Old Yang, show Mr. Wyatt the character concepts for our new project. The man pushed up his glasses and quickly opened a file. The moment Wyatt saw the art, he was first stunned. Then he subconsciously muttered 2 words. What did you say? Oh, nothing. Wyatt asked, what's the name of this new game? It was just greenlit. They've come up with a few names, but I'm not satisfied with any of them, so it's not set yet. Wyatt smiled. How about I give you a name? Just as a suggestion. Kai How You laughed as well. Go ahead. Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact? Wyatt spent the entire morning at MiHoYo, attending their event and getting a better understanding of how a game company operates. In a game company, the 2 most important positions were the development director and the operations director. But before a game's release, the development director was paramount. Below the director were the planners, programmers, and artists. The average age of MiHoYo's employees was under 30. This industry didn't require extensive experience. 2 or 3 years were enough. Older individuals were often constrained by outdated thinking. After returning, Wyatt put the game company plan on his agenda. It was best to act sooner rather than later. With spring recruitment underway at major universities, he figured he could find a few brilliant college students to create a small game. In this day and age, hiring a college student wasn't expensive at all. Back in the dorm that evening, the 4 roommates gathered for a rare game of poker. Chris was particularly surprised. Sam, when did you learn to play cards? Sam explained awkwardly. I've been getting lunch for Abby and Rachel, and they invited me over to their place on the weekends to eat. We'd play for a bit, so I learned. Nice. You're really branching out. I saw that new girl in Investment Division 2 calls you Sammy now. Sam smiled. I probably just look old for my age. Wyatt suddenly interjected. The office building will be finished this year. We can move in next year after we graduate. The company will have its own cafeteria then, so you won't have to get them food anymore. I've already promoted you to be the head of Division 2. Aren't you going to make a move on Abby yet? If you keep this up, Abby might start getting ideas. You should think it over. As soon as Wyatt said this, Sam's face turned bright red. Alex, hearing this, threw his cards on the table. What? Even this rookie Sam is about to get a girlfriend? Seeing this, Wyatt had no choice but to throw down his own cards, then kick Alex in the butt. You son of a bitch. I finally got a pair of aces, and you ruined the game. When Wyatt was done with his shower, Cecilia had already sent him several messages. With a towel in one hand and his phone in the other, Wyatt read what she had just sent. Cecilia, I was right. Ashley is definitely starting to date someone. Cecilia, last night, I got up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, and she was under her covers, texting him on her phone. Cecilia, Sophie and Leo, and Isabel and Michael were just like this in the beginning. Cecilia, maybe in a little while, Ashley will introduce us to her boyfriend. Cecilia, by the way, where were you this morning? You weren't at the company. Wyatt scrolled to the last message and quickly typed back. Wyatt, how did you know I wasn't at the company this morning? Cecilia, oops. Cecilia, I let slip. Wyatt, you better fess up. Cecilia, it's no big deal. Cecilia, it's just that I have a spy in your company. I know your every move. Wyatt, who did you bribe? Cecilia, not telling. Wyatt, is it Abby? Cecilia, nope. Wyatt, give me a break. I already knew. You think your little tricks can fool me? Cecilia, then tell me. What were you doing this morning? Wyatt, went to an event at a company I invested in before. Cecilia, oh, okay. Wyatt, I'll be over around 5:30 tomorrow. It's been a while since we all had dinner together. Invite your roommates. I'll let Leo and Michael know too. Cecilia, should I say it's your treat? Wyatt, our treat. Michael's paying. Cecilia, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Cecilia immediately told her roommates. The moment Isabel heard about the dinner gathering, she teased, Ashley, you should bring your boyfriend tomorrow. Let's all meet him. Ashley shot Isabel a look. Don't talk nonsense. We haven't gotten to that stage yet. Then what stage are you at? Just friends. Friends who text until 11 or 12 every night. Chloe chimed in, exactly. I'm not talking to you guys anymore. Ashley pouted, tossed out her threat, and climbed the ladder to her top bunk. Seeing that both her roommates were in bed, Isabel turned off the lights and, using her phone's flashlight, got into her own bed. She opened her phone and started messaging Michael. Isabel, did Wyatt tell you? We're all having dinner together tomorrow night. Michael, you two messaged me at the exact same time. Isabel, my stomach has been feeling a little off today. Michael, what's wrong? Ate something bad? Isabel, I don't know. Just nauseous. Feel like I might throw up. Reading this, Michael shot up from the sofa, his hands flying across the keyboard. Michael, could it be? You're pregnant. Isabel, impossible. Isabel, you're overthinking it. Michael, why is it impossible? Isabel, we use protection. Michael, what if? What if we bought a defective one? Isabel, not possible. Michael, are you asleep? If not, I can run to the pharmacy and get you a test. Isabel, don't make a big deal out of nothing. I know my own body. It was probably just the greasy food I had for dinner. Isabel, and... Michael, why are you so worked up? Michael, holy crap. How can I not be worked up? Isabel, we're not even married. Michael, plenty of people have kids before they get married these days. Michael, let's agree now, if we hit the jackpot, we're keeping it. Isabel, then I'm not coming over to your place anymore. Isabel, that way this won't happen. Michael? The next day at the company, Abby followed Wyatt into his office. She first handed him the day's schedule, then placed the documents that needed his signature from other departments on his right. As she did, she said, I've looked into the campus job fairs you asked me about yesterday. Next month, several top universities for software engineering, like Carnegie Mellon, Northeastern, and Georgia Tech, are holding them. And for computer science, schools like Stanford, MIT, and Berkeley also have fairs. Many schools have a portal for companies to register. Should we sign up? Let's skip the ones that are far away. We'll stick to the tri-state area and Pennsylvania. Compile a list of the job fair dates. If there are conflicts, we'll pass on the relatively lower-ranked schools. Got it. You look nice today. What? That outfit you're wearing. It looks good. Abby snapped back to reality, her head ducked in embarrassment as she shyly left the office. Wyatt smiled and, as was his daily habit, began to tackle the company's affairs. The rain outside fell intermittently. Looking down from his office window, the umbrellas of the pedestrians below looked like wilting flowers. Rainy days in the big city had none of the romance of poetry. As Wyatt stood at the window, nursing his thermos, he was suddenly reminded of the day Cecilia had first come to find him at school. The feeling in his heart that day had surpassed even their first meeting. Who would have thought that 2 years had passed in the blink of an eye? Wyatt sighed inwardly, relaxed his eyes, and then returned to his work. At 5:00 p.m., he left the company on the dot. It took him 50 minutes to arrive at the women's dormitory of the Music Conservatory. Michael, Leo, and the 4 golden flowers of dorm 205 were all waiting under the eaves. Seeing Wyatt get out of his car, Isabel immediately complained, Wyatt, you're the last one to arrive again. Don't even start. The traffic was a nightmare. Let's go. Let's find a place to eat. It's already dark. Sophie, what's the rush? It's not like you're going back to the dorm anyway. You can go back as late as you want. You're so annoying. What are we eating tonight? Hot pot. K-barbecue sounds good too. Michael said, I know a good all-you-can-eat place. It's not too expensive, about $45 a person. Wyatt immediately agreed. All right, let's go to the place you mentioned. Mr. Cheen, if you would lead the way. Are you also going to ask me to pay the bill later? Damn, how did you know? Are you kidding me? Since I met you, when have I not paid for dinner? You can't say that. Wyatt slung his arm around Michael's shoulder. When your daughter is born, I'll definitely give her a huge gift. How do you know I want a daughter? What father doesn't want a little princess? Fine, from your lips to God's ears. Wyatt then turned to Cecilia. Don't you worry, Cece. I never do business at a loss. For every one they have, we'll have 2. For every 2 they have, we'll have 3. We have to give gifts anyway, so we'll definitely come out ahead. Michael shoved Wyatt away. Get the hell away from me. Whenever they gathered for a meal, it was their most relaxed time. Since it was all you can eat, the waiter brought over the hot pot base and heated the grill, and the group quickly started eating and chatting. Naturally, the conversation shifted to Ashley. Wyatt asked directly, Ashley Spill, how'd you meet that guy? Suddenly being put on the spot, Ashley jumped. She pursed her lips. What's there to say? We just added each other on the subway and have been talking ever since. Cece told me he's a year older than you. Yeah, he's about to graduate. He's already signed with a talent agency and said he's about to start intensive training at the company. Wyatt frowned. A trainee? Yeah, being a trainee is great, Isabel said with a laugh. He'll be a huge star when he debuts. It's not as simple as you make it sound. To get signed as a trainee, he must be good at singing and dancing, and he's definitely got the looks. The intensive training is probably focused on dancing, right? Which agency did he sign with? The group chattered away. Michael wasn't particularly interested in Ashley's potential boyfriend, but seeing Wyatt's silence, he asked, Wyatt, why are you so quiet? After Michael's question, everyone turned to look at Wyatt. Wyatt glanced at Ashley, then said, Ashley, you might not like what I'm about to say, but as a friend, I have to say it. As far as I know, when talent agencies sign trainees, they usually require them to stay single. You probably know that being single is better for an entertainer's career. Wyatt's words silenced the entire table, right? How do we forget about that? Ashley's expression went blank. She hadn't considered that problem. If what Wyatt said was true, then why was he? Seeing the smile vanish from Ashley's face, Wyatt quickly comforted her. I'm just saying, you can ask him about it. Maybe he has some kind of background, so he wouldn't be bound by those rules. Ashley didn't reply, but she knew Trevor didn't have any special background. He had told her as much himself. Isabel took Ashley's hand. It's okay. Until we know for sure, we can just maintain a healthy distance. Ashley nodded. We're just friends anyway. This meat is ready. Pig, pour me a drink. Stop ordering me around. Have Michael do it. He's used to it anyway. The group quickly changed the subject, but Ashley remained preoccupied, her mind clearly elsewhere. After dinner, they took a short walk outside. Then, Wyatt drove Ashley back to her dorm. Before she got out, he joked, Are you scared to be in the dorm alone at night? If you are, I can have Cece stay with you. Ashley waved him off. Give me a break. I'm used to it. All right, then we're heading out. Call me if you need anything. MMM. Watching Wyatt's car drive away, Ashley turned and entered the dormitory building. Before she even set foot on the stairs, she eagerly pulled her phone from her bag and sent a message to Trevor. Ashley, you there? Trevor. Yeah, what's up? Ashley wanted to verify what Wyatt had said, but she was too embarrassed to ask directly. So, she told a little lie. Ashley, a friend of mine wants to sign with a talent agency too. When you signed with your company, were there any restrictions? 2 minutes passed before Trevor replied. Trevor, I didn't read the contract too closely, but there are definitely conditions. Ashley typed again. Ashley, I heard that agencies require trainees not to date. Is that true? This time, the reply took even longer. Trevor, some do. Trevor, but the agency can't really control that. Aren't there a lot of stars with secret relationships? Huh, Trevor, why are you asking about this? Ashley quickly explained. Ashley, oh, I was just having dinner with friends and we were talking about it, so I thought I'd ask. Trevor, I see. In the hotel room, Cecilia dropped her bag and took off her heavy coat, sitting on the edge of the bed. Do talent agencies really have that kind of requirement? Generally, yes. It's not that hard to become a trainee these days. As long as you look decent and have some talent, you can get signed. Many agencies sign dozens, even hundreds of trainees at once. If just one of them makes it big, the agency doesn't lose money. For those who don't make it, the agency will slowly pressure them into terminating their contracts, and they can even get a penalty fee out of it. What? Cecilia was surprised. Really? That's why most of the stars who make it in the entertainment industry fall into two categories. First, those with powerful backgrounds and plenty of resources who no one dares to bully. The second are those who claw their way up through their own talent, cunning, and schemes. That's why people say the entertainment industry is a dirty, messy place. Cecilia thought for a moment, then said, What if Ashley runs into a real player? She doesn't have any experience in this. She should be fine. We already gave her a heads up. I'm worried. Wyatt smiled and ruffled her hair. It's fine. Tomorrow at lunch, we'll call Mandy. That guy goes to NYU too, right? I'll have her do some digging. Maybe she can find something out. Oh, right. Wyatt stretched. First I had to manage Leo and Sophie. Then I had to play matchmaker for Michael and Isabel. And now I have to look out for Ashley. What would you guys do without me? Cecilia tilted her head up, holding Wyatt's hands. With great power comes great responsibility, she giggled. I ate too much. I'm going to walk it off downstairs. I'll go with you. No need. It's drizzling outside. I'll be right back. Then why are you going out? Just walk around the room. What is it you really want to do downstairs? We're out of that thing. I'm going to buy a box. Cecilia immediately let go of his hands. Wyatt chuckled. Honestly, you had to ask. Cecilia lifted her foot, pretending to kick him. Just get out of here, you. As you wish, my queen. I thought you said you wanted to come with me. Cecilia crossed her arms, turning her head away. I'm not going with you. It's too embarrassing. You're embarrassed now? Last week you. As if she knew what he was about to say, Cecilia shot up from the bed. Shut up. Just go buy it. As you wish, my queen. The next morning, around 9:15, Wyatt drove to NYU. When he messaged Mandy, she wasn't in her dorm. She was at the gym. The acting program had high standards for physical fitness, and the hallways of the department building were plastered with posters about healthy eating and scientific weight loss. Perhaps she had indulged a bit too much over the holiday, because Mandy had bought a gym membership as soon as she got back to school. Upon receiving the message, Mandy jogged back to her dorm, phone in hand. She was dressed in a white tracksuit, her hair tied up in a high ponytail. The Evans family had good genes, and her mother was particularly blessed. Mandy had inherited the best from both her parents and was actually very beautiful. But perhaps because they were related, Wyatt didn't see her as a great beauty, just like with Riley. Even though she had grown taller and prettier, in Wyatt's eyes, she wasn't as cute as she used to be. She was so much better before, with her chubby little face you could just pinch. "Cousin, what are you doing here?" Mandy was very surprised. Wyatt saw the sweat on her forehead and pointed to the dorm building. "You go back and change. Take a shower if you want. We have time today. Are you taking me out?" "What, you don't want to go?" Mandy grinned. "Of course I do. I'll just go up for a bit. I got all sweaty, so I need a shower. It might take a while." "It's fine. Your cousin-in-law and I will just walk around your campus for a bit." "Okay." Mandy quickly went back to her dorm. Wyatt and Cecilia began to stroll around the campus. "Oh, a heads up. Starting next week, I might have to go on a few business trips. I'll try my best to be back on weekends, but if I can't, I'll let you know in advance." "What are the trips for?" Wyatt explained. "I want to start a new project, so I have to visit a few well-known universities nearby to recruit people. Chris is busy with other things, and I want to oversee this project myself, so I'll just go myself. Remember to eat on time. You too. Your cousin's school seems pretty small, too. Tish has several campuses. This is just one of them. If you put them all together, it's probably not small. But there are a lot of beautiful girls." "That's true." As soon as he said it, Wyatt realized he had answered too quickly. Sure enough, the next second, Cecilia's hand found its way to his waist. Just as she was about to pinch, Wyatt quickly backpedaled. "But all of them together aren't as pretty as you." Cecilia wasn't fooled by his words. She wasn't the same girl she used to be. Wyatt winced from the pinch. "Was that really necessary?" "I'm just giving you a little reminder." Wyatt, wanting to retaliate, asked playfully, "There are a lot of handsome guys at this school, too." "I don't think so." "Yes, there are. They're all very good-looking." Cecilia wasn't falling for it. She linked her arm with Wyatt's and said softly and affectionately, "But I only have eyes for you." "Whoa, who did you learn that line from?" "From you. I've never said anything like that. You want to check our old chat logs?" "You still have them?" "Of course." "Then what's the sentence I've said to you the most?" Cecilia blurted out, "Send leg pics." Mandy took a quick shower and changed into clean clothes. After rushing downstairs, she met up with Wyatt and Cecilia, who had just finished their walk. Once the three were in the car, Wyatt asked as he drove, "Where are your 3 roommates?" "Oh, 2 went to a club activity, and the other was at the gym with me. I just said hi to her and came down alone." Wyatt nodded and continued, "Getting along okay with your roommates?" "Of course." "And your classmates?" "They're all fine. Just a few annoying guys." Only then did Wyatt get to the point. "I didn't really come here for anything major today, mainly just to see how you're doing at school, and also to ask you to find out something for me." "Find out what?" "There's a senior at your school named Trevor Dayne. Help me find out what kind of person he is." "Trevor Dayne." Cecilia chimed in. "Yeah. Dayne." Mandy frowned. "Why are you asking about him?" "Don't worry about that. Just tell me if you can do it." "Of course I can. There aren't many people in our acting department, maybe 30 per year at most. My friend Ashley has a friend from high school who's a sophomore here. She should know him." "All right, go find out and let me know what you hear." Mandy giggled. "Is there a reward?" Wyatt snorted. "The reward is that I'll let you work as a summer intern at my company." "Is that enough?" "Enough." Cecilia was a bit confused. "Why are you so happy about being offered a summer job?" Just as she was about to ask, Wyatt, as if reading her mind, said, "You remember Jay? See, the guy who sat at our table at Victor's wedding." "Yeah, what about him?" "He wants to intern at my company this summer, so—" Cecilia paused for a moment, then turned to look at Mandy, a look of sudden understanding on her face. "Cousin, can you please give me some face?" Wyatt ignored her. It was still early. After leaving the campus, Wyatt hesitated for a moment. He remembered that YW had moved to New York and he hadn't visited yet. Since he was in the city center today, he gave Vivian a call. After a brief chat, he drove straight over. 20 minutes later, the car stopped in front of a 50-story office building in Midtown. Staring up at the glass curtain wall that seemed to stretch to the sky, Wyatt subconsciously muttered, "Holy crap." He hadn't expected the office floor that Richard Yu had gifted to Vivian to be in such a prime location. This was truly an insane level of wealth. "The lady boss's new company is in this building?" "Yeah," Mandy said in a daze. "The people who work here probably aren't short on cash, right?" Seeing Mandy stunned, Wyatt tapped the back of her head. Let's go up and see, he said, then strode toward the ground floor lobby. Mandy quickly followed. YW's office was on the 30th floor. When the elevator doors opened, there were hallways on both the left and right sides, lined with company offices. A sign for YW was visible right from the elevator. As they walked toward the company's entrance, Wyatt saw a familiar face from a distance. Wyatt. No, wait, I should call you Mr. Wyatt now. Hannah? You came to New York too? Hannah said proudly, of course. I've always said, wherever the lady boss goes, I go. Wyatt gave her a thumbs up. Hannah quickly led him toward Vivian's office, but they were stopped halfway. Mr. Wyatt. The person who stopped them was none other than Tanya Yuan, the girl he had met in the Poconos and later recommended for a job at the company. Tanya, seeing Wyatt, just wanted to say hello. Wyatt was very surprised and chatted with her for a while before finally making his way to Vivian's office. You're here. Vivian was wearing a long, dark yellow trench coat with thick black stockings and a pair of pointed-toe, low-heel boots. She looked completely different from her time in Riverwood, much more cheerful, as if all her negative emotions had been purged. The moment he walked in, Wyatt complimented her. Lady boss, I'm not just flattering you. You really look even more beautiful after getting married. Vivian laughed. Well, aren't you something, Wyatt? Saying that in front of your own girlfriend. Aren't you afraid of getting disciplined when you get home? Now, what are you saying? If there's any disciplining to be done, it'll be me disciplining her, okay? Don't you doubt my status in this household. For once, Cecilia didn't argue. She remembered Miranda's advice. Always give your man face in public. But she didn't do nothing, either. She shot Wyatt a look that clearly said, go ahead and gloat. We'll settle this tonight. Vivian had settled into her new life. After the wedding, she and Victor entered their honeymoon phase. No matter how busy she was during the day, Victor would drive over to pick her up after work. At home, both Richard and Julia treated Vivian very well. Judy, who had always been doted on by her brother, now showered that same affection on Vivian. Whenever she was home, she would stick close to Vivian. Despite their age difference, there was no gap between the sisters-in-law. A year ago, Vivian couldn't have dreamed of living this kind of life. Having already resigned herself to a compromised future, she had now embarked on a new journey, a life that countless people would envy. The new week passed quickly, and before they knew it, it was March. On Friday, Wyatt had to go to Pittsburgh for CMU's spring job fair. This month, he had to visit 4 universities in total. Besides the ones in NYC, he also had to go to Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. March was the perfect time for a trip, with spring in full bloom. If Cecilia didn't have classes, Wyatt would have loved to take her with him, treating it as a vacation. For this business trip, Wyatt had initially thought of taking Faye Jean, the head of HR. But a man and a woman traveling alone could be awkward, and the entire HR department was female. After mulling it over, he couldn't decide who to bring. That evening, back in the dorm, he saw Alex watching Stranger Things with a bored expression and casually asked, Alex, you busy lately? Not at all. What's up? Want to go to Pittsburgh for a trip on Friday? We'll be back next Tuesday. You in? Alex hit the spacebar, pausing the show. He frowned. Just the 2 of us. There's one other person. I can't go. Alex said quickly. I don't have your clout. If I skip class, I'll fail my finals for sure. I'll take care of getting you an excused absence. Is it really for fun? Wyatt nodded. Actually, we're going to CMU for a job fair. My company's HR manager is a woman, and if I take her alone, I'm worried my girlfriend will get jealous. Chris and Sam can't get away, so I thought I'd ask you. You're paying for room and board? Duh. Alex thought for 3 seconds and finally agreed. Wyatt, Chris, and Sam were all working at the same company, coming and going together every day. Alex felt a bit like the odd one out. He figured if he missed this chance, he'd probably never get to visit CMU. So he nodded and said, all right, I'll go with you. As long as I don't have to spend any money, I'll go anywhere. Alex, you're becoming a real penny pincher. Money makes the man. You wouldn't get it. Wyatt just smiled and didn't reply. Faye Jean had joined the company at the same time as David and Irene. She had only graduated a year ago. A year of work had made her more mature than a college student, but only slightly. Wyatt had told Faye on Tuesday that she would be going to Pittsburgh with him on Friday. Faye had immediately started preparing, but for the past few days, her heart had been pounding with anxiety. This was her first business trip with a boss, and what made her most nervous was that Wyatt had only asked her to come along. Faye had secretly asked Hannah, are you going with the boss to CMU? But Hannah had just shaken her head and said, I wasn't told to. Faye didn't have many hobbies, but she loved reading romance novels on her phone, stories about overbearing CEOs and feisty princesses. So, before the trip, her mind was already filled with all sorts of dramatic scenarios that only happened in novels. A domineering CEO forces a kiss on me? What do I do if my evil boss tries to take advantage of me? She had even Googled things like, what to do if your boss only books one room on a business trip? And my boss only invited me on a business trip. Is he hinting at something? And what if I'm propositioned, but he's really handsome? Should I resist? These questions had plagued her for days. Finally, on Thursday evening, the day before they were set to leave, Wyatt called her into his office. "Hey, Mr. Wyatt, you wanted to see me?" Faye asked timidly, not daring to meet his eyes. "Is everything ready?" "Yes, it is." "All right. We'll leave directly from the company tomorrow morning. Don't forget to double-check everything before we go." "Okay. Why do you seem so distracted?" Faye quickly snapped back to attention and shook her head. No, I was just thinking if I forgot anything." "All right," Wyatt said, only now remembering. "There's someone else coming with us to Pittsburgh tomorrow. When we get to the hotel, you'll have your own room." Faye subconsciously asked who. "A roommate of mine." Faye said, "Oh," a hint of disappointment in her eyes. "If there's nothing else, you can head home and get ready." "Okay." Faye nodded and left the office. The anxiety of the past 2 days vanished, replaced by the exhaustion that follows a burst of excitement. She slumped in her chair at her desk and sighed to herself, Faye, what on earth were you thinking?" After promising to look into Trevor Dayne, Mandy had told her roommate Ashley about it that same evening. They finally got a reply on Thursday night. After confirming the details, Mandy quickly called Wyatt. Wyatt, who had just gotten back to his dorm, answered instantly. "Hello, cousin. Speak. The person you asked me to look into. He's not at our school. A senior in the acting department, Trevor Dayne. You're sure he's not there?" "I'm sure. My friend sent over the official roster. There's no one named Trevor Dayne on it." Just as Wyatt was about to speak, Mandy quickly added, "But there is a senior on the list named Trevor. Trevor Gallo." Wyatt's brow furrowed instantly. "Send me the roster." "You got it." Wyatt clicked open the picture. Mandy hadn't been lying. The name Trevor Dayne was nowhere on the list. The only person with the last name Trevor was a Trevor Gallo. If Trevor Gallo was his real name, why hadn't he just told Ashley that? Wyatt smelled a rat. After a moment's thought, he started a video call with Chloe, then immediately asked her to pass the phone to Ashley. "What's up?" Ashley asked, taking the phone. Wyatt didn't beat around the bush. "Hey, not much. It's just, you know my cousin Mandy goes to NYU, Tish? She's in the acting program, too. I took her out to dinner last Saturday and happened to mention Trevor Dayne. But she just called me and said there's no one by that name in their program." "No way." Ashley laughed. She chuckled for a solid 10 seconds before noticing the serious look on Wyatt's face. The laughter died in her throat. "Are you sure you asked her, right? I've been to their campus." "I'm sure. The acting program only takes about 30 students a year. It's easy to track someone down. Plus, she sent me the official class list. There's a Trevor on it, but his last name is Gallo, not Dayne." Ashley was speechless. Seeing her stunned expression, Wyatt pressed on. "You should really ask him about it. If his real name is Trevor Gallo, why would he tell you it's Dayne? Even if he changed it, he should have explained that to you." Ashley held the phone, but her mind was a million miles away. After a long pause, she finally snapped back to reality. "Okay," she managed. "I get it. Get Isabel's take on it," Wyatt advised gently. "Don't just get swept up in the heat of the moment. You can know someone's face, but you never really know what's in their heart." Wyatt left it at that, not wanting to push any further. Ashley handed the phone back to Chloe. Isabel was out to dinner with Michael and hadn't returned yet. Seeing Ashley's troubled state, Chloe decided not to chat with Wyatt and ended the call. She sat down next to Ashley on the bed. "Maybe you should just ask him directly." Ashley seemed to hesitate, then shook her head, a wave of defeat washing over her. "Whatever. It's not like we've known each other that long. Just forget it." Hearing that, Chloe didn't press the issue. The next morning, Wyatt dragged Alex out of bed. They rushed through their morning routines, and Wyatt took him to the campus dining hall for a quick breakfast before they headed straight to the investments office. Alex hadn't been to the Dumbo office in a while and was shocked to see how many new faces there were. It took him a moment to get his bearings. At 9:30 a.m., Wyatt, Alex, and a new hire named Faye Jean set out from the office. Alex had his driver's license, but had barely ever driven, and Faye didn't even have one, so Wyatt was stuck playing chauffeur. Thankfully, the drive from New York City to Pittsburgh wasn't too terrible. "Faye, what's the plan for CMU?" Wyatt asked from the driver's seat. "We'll get there today and set up our booth. We have Saturday off. The job fair is Sunday, where we'll collect resumes. Monday, we'll do a first round of simple interviews, followed by online technical interviews later." Faye paused, then added, "Wyatt, who's going to conduct the technical interviews?" "I've asked the development director from MiHoYo to help out." He also recommended a very experienced programmer. I've already got Chris working on contacting him to see if we can poach him. Got it. The three of them chatted for the whole drive, arriving near Carnegie Mellon just in time for lunch. After a simple meal, they checked into their hotel. Faye would handle the logistics and paperwork for the job fair that afternoon. That was her responsibility. Wyatt just needed to show his face at the fair on Sunday, which left him with a day and a half to relax. He had no intention of staying cooped up in the hotel. Since he was here, he wanted to see the city, maybe walk through Point State Park. He figured he could scout it out now and bring Chloe back with him someday when they had more time. So, after resting for a couple of hours, he drove Alex out toward the riverfront in the late afternoon. The park was huge, though, and it wasn't long after they got out of the car that the sky began to darken. Alex rubbed his stomach and whined. Can we come back tomorrow? I'm starving. All right, let's get some food then. Please don't tell me it's another one of those cheap rice bowl places like at lunch, Alex said, his face a mask of misery. Relax. I'll take you out for a real feast tonight. Chris and Sam were both working at sea. Investments, leaving Alex the odd man out. Wyatt had put him in charge of the vending machine company, but with market competition getting fiercer, the profits weren't what they used to be. Seeing Alex on his own so much, Wyatt always felt a little guilty. This trip was a good opportunity to make up for it. After dinner, Wyatt said with a grin, "How about I treat you to a massage?" Is that a good idea? Alex asked awkwardly. I mean, I don't care, but you have a girlfriend. Wyatt jabbed a knee into Alex's butt. Get your mind out of the gutter, you perv. I'm talking about a real massage. My back's been killing me lately. Yeah, right, your back, Alex scoffed. I think you got other, performance issues. Screw you. I hear the soles of your feet have pressure points that connect to all your major organs. How about we get the massage therapist to go to town on the kidney point? First one to scream is a total wuss. Oh, you're on. They bantered all the way to a local bistro, but neither of them was a fan of the food. After a few half-hearted bites, they found a place called the Healing Path Wellness Spa. Wyatt ordered 2 services for each of them, a foot reflexology session and a back massage. They were soon led into a small private room. A few minutes later, 2 women who looked to be in their late 40s entered, carrying steaming wooden basins. They were both pleasant and professional, which was a relief to Wyatt. If 2 20-somethings had walked in, he would have worried the place was a front for something else. Good evening, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to serve you, one of them said, reciting the classic opening line. The 2 technicians placed small stools by the massage beds, washed their feet, and quickly got down to business. Alex, never one to miss a chance to posture, fired the first shot. Ladies, when you get to the pressure points, don't hold back, all right? We're trying to see who's in better shape here. Wyatt just rolled his eyes and lay back quietly. As they worked, the technicians explained the process. This spot at the top is for the lungs. These 2 next to it correspond to the heart and the stomach. Whoa, Wyatt, she's right. I get indigestion all the time, and it totally hurts when she presses there. The arch of the foot corresponds to the spine. And this spot here is the insomnia point. You'll both sleep like babies tonight. After the general tour, the technician finally got to the main event. This central point corresponds to the kidneys. Generally, before she could finish, Alex propped himself up. Ma'am, could you please use a little more force? We're not delicate. Yeah, Wyatt chimed in. The harder, the better. Usually, only middle-aged men with calloused feet made such requests. The 2 technicians exchanged a knowing glance, figuring the 2 young men were just trying to one-up each other. So, they both increased the pressure. After only 10 seconds, the 2 men, who had been the picture of relaxation, were suddenly on high alert. Another 20 seconds, and they were both unconsciously clenching their jaws. Seeing their faces turning red, the technicians assumed they were just stubbornly holding back the pain and added even more force. Alex had been all talk. Both he and Wyatt were, under their clothes, pretty soft. At this level of pressure, even someone with perfectly healthy kidneys would be yelping. But this was a matter of pride now. Neither wanted to be the first to crack. So they endured. Until, it was impossible to tell who screamed first, but once one did, the other immediately followed. The small room filled with a chorus of pathetic squeals. Oh my God! HSSSSSS. Lady, lighter, lighter. Alex, what the hell are you screaming for? Don't you pin this on me. You were the one who started barking like a dog. Wyatt couldn't be bothered to argue. Judging by the looks on the technicians' faces, their dignity was already long gone. He silently covered his face with a towel. After the foot massage, he flipped over onto his stomach for the back portion. By the time they left the spa, it was already past 9. Sitting in the car, Alex was buzzing with energy. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I feel way lighter now. Like my circulation's actually working. Don't be so dramatic. Alex stretched, letting out a long sigh of relief. If I ever get rich, I'm doing that every single night. Is that the extent of your ambition? After this trip, I'm thinking of studying for the civil service exams. Wyatt was taken aback. He'd never expected the carefree, cynical Alex to choose that path. You've decided? Alex nodded. I'm just not cut out for getting rich. I might as well pick the safest road there is. That's a good plan. Assuming I can even pass. My parents wanted to stay in New York, but the competition there is insane. You'll never know if you don't try, Wyatt said. Alex stared out the window, not replying. The world of adults didn't offer many choices. After graduation, you either went to grad school, took the civil service exams, got a job, or went home to take over the family business. Alex's grades weren't good enough for grad school. He'd been complaining about picking the wrong major since freshman year. As for a job, he didn't think he had the skills to command a high salary. He knew if he asked Wyatt, he'd get a position at Investments in a heartbeat, but then what? Wyatt was the CEO, Chris was a partner, and even Sam was managing a whole division. Even if Wyatt gave him a cushy, meaningless title, Alex would feel like a charity case. Besides, it would open Wyatt up to accusations of nepotism. Alex hated causing trouble for himself, and he hated causing it for others even more. So even as investments grew, he never once asked Wyatt for a job. And inheriting the family business was a non-starter. He was a New York native, sure, but his family was strictly middle class, nothing like Chris, whose family owned enough real estate for him to live off rental income for the rest of his life. The car moved steadily along the highway. Nearing the hotel, Wyatt slowed down for a series of speed bumps. Feeling stuffy from the car's heater, Alex rolled his window down halfway. A rush of crisp, early spring air flooded the car, feeling cool and refreshing on his face. Just as Wyatt was about to turn into the hotel's underground parking garage, a piercing scream erupted from behind the car. Aya! Wyatt instinctively slammed on the brakes. From his position in the driver's seat, he couldn't see what was happening to the right rear of the car. Alex, equally startled by the scream, stuck his head out the window and looked back. At the intersection, a woman was shouting. In front of her, two men on an electric scooter were speeding directly toward Wyatt's car. In a split second, Alex's brain processed the scene. The woman had been waiting at the red light when two snatching grab muggers on a scooter had ripped the purse from her hands. 1 second, Alex was talking about living a safe, stable life. The next, some wire in his brain short-circuited. He threw open the car door, and as the scooter zipped past, he kicked out with all his might. Bang! The scooter crashed to the ground, sending its two riders tumbling across the pavement. They were wearing helmets, so they weren't seriously hurt. Alex, on the other hand, was not so lucky. The force of the kick and the scooter's momentum sent him sprawling. The knee of his jeans was torn to shreds, and blood was already seeping through the fabric. Blocked by a blind spot, Wyatt had gotten out of the car at roughly the same time as Alex. But by the time he rounded the vehicle, Alex was already on the ground, howling in pain. The woman's screams had drawn the attention of plenty of people, but no one had dared to intervene. Now, seeing the two muggers on the ground, a crowd swarmed in, surrounding them. Alex, you okay? Not dead yet. You idiot. Wyatt snapped. I've never seen you act so brave. Now you decide to be a hero. He remembered the first aid kit in the trunk, ran to the back of the car, and grabbed it. He ripped it open, but had no idea what he was doing. Seeing the blood soaking Alex's knee, he grabbed a gauze pad, pressed it against the wound, and haphazardly wrapped it with a bandage. By now, the hotel security guard had arrived and were detaining the two muggers. The woman whose purse had been stolen limped over. One of her high heels was broken, probably from when she tried to chase after them. Seeing Alex's injury, she rushed over. Thank you, she said, her voice frantic. Are you all right? Do you need to go to the hospital? Alex shook his head. The initial shock of the fall had been intense, but now, maybe from the blood loss, his knee was just numb. With Wyatt's help, he managed to get to his feet. A security guard came over and handed the purse back to the woman. Ma'am, is this yours? Yes. The police should be here any minute. Please don't leave. You'll need to give them a statement. Okay. The woman wasn't very old, maybe 27 or 28. She was pleasant-looking, but not a classic beauty. Still, judging by her clothes and the large pearl earrings she wore, she was well off. Wyatt helped Alex into the car. He closed the door and was about to drive to the hospital when the woman approached again. Hey, can I get a number? Wyatt pulled out his phone and let her scan his contact info, then immediately sped off toward the hospital. On the way, he finally let loose. What the hell is wrong with you? That thing was moving so fast, and you just stick your leg out? I'm telling you, you got lucky today. I wasn't thinking, Alex said sheepishly. I just saw it coming and kicked. I didn't think I'd get knocked over, too. God, it hurts like hell. You deserved it. At the nearest hospital, Wyatt saw Alex grimacing as he tried to get out of the car. He simply hoisted him onto his back and carried him all the way to the emergency room. A female doctor examined the wound. What happened? This idiot here was playing hero and took a tumble, Wyatt explained. The doctor didn't say anything. She gently tapped Alex's knee. Does this hurt? Yes. Good. Means it's nothing major. We'll just disinfect it and bandage it up. With that, she took a pair of forceps, clamped a cotton ball soaked in antiseptic, and began cleaning the wound. Alex bit down hard, clenching his fist to keep from crying out. As the doctor cleaned away the clotted blood, Wyatt couldn't bear to watch. He turned away. Just then his phone buzzed. He pulled it out. It was a text from the woman whose purse was stolen. Is he okay? Wyatt typed out a reply, then deleted it. Instead, he snapped a picture of the doctor treating Alex's wound and sent it to her. She replied almost instantly. Which hospital are you at? I'm on my way. Wyatt frowned. He hadn't expected her to feel this responsible. Not wanting to make the decision for Alex, he turned and asked, Hey, that woman from before wants to come see you. Should I let her? Hiss. Alex sucked in a sharp breath as another jolt of pain shot through his leg. In the end, Wyatt sent the address to the woman whose name he didn't even know. The doctor spent about 15 minutes cleaning the wound, bandaging the worst of it on his knee, and treating the other scrapes. Finally, she rattled off instructions. Rest for the next 2 days. If you can lie down, don't sit. If you can sit, don't walk. It'll heal faster that way. Come back in 2 days to have the dressing changed. Okay, thank you, doctor. Most doctors were clinical. It wasn't that they were inhuman, but they'd seen so many severe injuries and witnessed so much life and death that what seemed agonizing to a normal person was just another day at the office for them. Wyatt paid the medical bill and was helping Alex toward the entrance when they ran right into the woman from the robbery. Seeing them, she hurried over. How is he? What did the doctors say? Alex, who had been whimpering in pain just moments ago, suddenly found his backbone. He forced a smile. Just a scrape. Nothing serious. Thank you so much for what you did. If it weren't for you, I don't know what I would have done. It was nothing. So, how much was the medical bill? Let me Venmo you. Wyatt shook his head. It wasn't much. Don't worry about it. As long as no bones are broken, we're good. We have other business to attend to for the next few days. You're from out of town. We're from New York. How long are you in Pittsburgh? We head back Tuesday. The woman thought for a moment. Then let me treat you to lunch or dinner on Monday. Otherwise, I'll feel terrible. Wyatt didn't answer. Seeing this, Alex reluctantly nodded. Okay, all right. I'm Renee, she said, extending a hand. Hearing her name, Alex froze for a second, then quickly shook her hand. I'm Alex. Alex, she said, her voice warm. It's a pleasure to meet you, Alex. Anyway, thank you again for everything today. So it's a date for Monday. I'll text you. Just then, her phone rang. Seeing it was her father, she quickly answered. Hey, Dad. Yes, don't worry, I'm fine now. Someone help stop them. You got a little hurt. I'm at the hospital entrance now. I'll be home soon. After a few quick words, she thanked Alex again and left. Wyatt helped Alex into the car. Once he was in the driver's seat, he adopted a mockingly sweet tone. I'm Renee. It's a pleasure to meet you, Alex. Alex rolled his eyes. Don't be disgusting. Look at you all flustered. She offers to buy you dinner, and you can barely speak. You're coming with me. The hell I am. This has nothing to do with me. What? You're gonna make me go alone? That's so awkward. What's awkward about dinner? Why a shot back? It's not like she's going to eat you. By the way, did you see your purse? I wasn't paying attention. If that bag was real, Wyatt said, it's worth over $3 grand. Seriously? Seriously. It was nearly 11 when Renee got home. She lived in a wealthy suburb of Pittsburgh in a massive 7-story modern house, 6 floors above ground and a full basement. Her family's home was nothing short of a mansion. Her father, Dayne, had started out as a worker in a shipyard. Through a chance encounter, he met some pearl farmers and went into business for himself, creating pearl jewelry. The business boomed, and in just a few years, he became a major player. He later expanded into jade, agate, and other precious stones, and was now a local jewelry tycoon. Seeing his daughter walk through the door, a weight lifted from Dayne's chest. Renee, are you okay? I already told you on the phone I'm fine. What happened? Where are the guys who robbed you? Turns out it wasn't their first time. The police asked me a few questions and took them away. The guy who helped me got a little hurt, though. His knee was bleeding a lot. By the time I got to the hospital, he was already bandaged up. He wouldn't let me pay for the medical bills, so I'm treating him to dinner on Monday as a thank you. Renee's mother nodded. That's the right thing to do. Mom, I'm going upstairs now. Okay, sweetie. Sleep well. I will. Back in her room. After a shower, Renee found she couldn't sleep. She scrolled through TikTok for a bit. The app had launched the previous year, though it was still in its early days, with less content and a clunkier algorithm. She got bored quickly and closed it. Just as she was about to post about her ordeal on her private Facebook story, she got a message from Wyatt. She opened it. He had sent her Alex's contact card. Without hesitating, she sent a friend request. About 2 minutes later, he accepted. Seeing the notification, she took the initiative and sent the first message. "Hey, handsome." Alex was already lying in his hotel bed. He saw the message and froze, then turned to Wyatt. "You gave her my contact info?" "Yeah." "Without even telling me?" "Did she add you?" "Yeah. And she already messaged me." "What should I say?" "How the hell should I know?" "Say whatever you want. You play hero for 5 minutes, and I'm the one who's exhausted." Wyatt grabbed a pair of shorts and disappeared into the bathroom. Alex sat on his bed, thought for a moment, and typed back a reply. "Hey, beautiful." Renee laughed out loud. He was totally copying her. She decided to get the ball rolling. "How old are you guys? You're not still in college, are you?" "Yeah, we are." "Is that a problem?" "No, I just didn't expect you'd be so young." "How old are you?" Renee smiled as she typed. It's very rude to ask a woman her age, especially a woman who's older than you. Alex, ever the blunt instrument, replied. "Okay, then forget I asked." "Renee, I'm 29, almost 30. So, technically, you should be calling me ma'am." "Alex, I thought you were only like 24, 25. Renee, haha, I'll take that as a compliment." "Renee, is your leg okay?" "Alex, it's fine, just a scrape." "Renee, there were so many people there, and no one helped me. What made you decide to stop those two guys?" "Alex, I don't know. My roommate and I had just come from spa. My brain was totally relaxed. I didn't even think. I just saw them coming, kicked, and then a half minute passed." Renee sent another message. "You should stay away from places like that." At first, Alex didn't get it. Then it clicked, and he shot up in bed, frantically typing a reply. "No, ma'am, you got it all wrong. It was a real wellness spa, not that kind of place." "Alex? Alex? Are you there?" "Renee, it's okay, it's okay. I get it. You don't have to explain." "Alex? Alex? Alex?" Wyatt had planned to explore Pittsburgh on Saturday, but with Alex injured, that plan was out the window. After a lazy day spent in the hotel, he left Alex behind on Sunday morning and headed to CMU with Faye. The job fair was already set up. Since the university organized separate fairs for each college, there were only about 40 companies present, mostly software and gaming firms. Each had its own booth, separated by partitions. Chris's newly registered game company was named Ark Interactive Entertainment. The business license was practically still warm from the printer, so it was no surprise that it had zero name recognition compared to the major studios around them. Wyatt and Faye sat there for what felt like an eternity without a single person stopping to inquire. Seeing the steady streams of students at the other booths, Faye grew worried. "Wyatt, at this rate, we're not going to get a single resume." Wyatt hadn't expected this either. He stood up and flagged down a passing student. "Hey you, care to learn more about our company?" The student glanced at the company name on their banner and gave a firm shake of his head. "Sorry, I'm only considering major studios." Wyatt was speechless. He hadn't thought his first recruiting trip would be such a bust. The thought of returning empty-handed spurred him into action. After a few minutes of brainstorming, he took a megaphone from Faye, switched it on, and stood at the front of their booth. "Attention, everyone," he boomed. "Walk on by, but don't miss out. I know most of you have no idea who we are. In fact, our company was just founded. It's normal that you don't know us, but I feel it's my duty to introduce myself and this company to all of you." The sudden blast from the megaphone drew a lot of eyes. Seizing the moment, Wyatt continued. "My name is Wyatt, and I'm the founder of Investments. You might have heard of some of the companies I've invested in, like MiHoYo and Ofo Bikes. This new company, Ark Interactive Entertainment, will be the first fully owned subsidiary of Investments, and I'll be personally overseeing its initial phase. Let me give you a quick rundown of our compensation package. If you receive an offer from us for a game engineer position, your starting base salary will be $120,000. With benefits and bonuses, your total compensation will be around $140,000. We offer 9 to 6 hours, weekends off, and any overtime will be paid separately. That will be written into your contract. Positions are limited, and we will be selective. Oh, and a heads up, for the technical interviews, I'll be bringing in the technical director from MiHoYo as a co-interviewer, so our technical standards are very high. Wyatt finished his speech and handed the megaphone back to Faye. By the time he sat back down, a crowd of students had swarmed their booth. "Hi, I'd like to ask what positions you're hiring for." "Excuse me, are you hiring front-end developers?" "Is my resume." I won first prize in the National Mathematical Contest in modeling and was the runner-up in the National Internet Innovation Competition. Where is your company located? What's the main project you're working on? Faye answered what she could, and Wyatt handled the rest. The once deserted booth was now the busiest spot in the hall. It was partly due to investment's reputation, but mostly because of the irresistible offer Wyatt had just made. In one morning, Faye collected over 40 resumes. The overall quality of the CMU students was impressive. Every single resume had something noteworthy on it. Wyatt didn't know much about the technical side, so he decided to take them all back and let the experts have a look. After a full day at the university on Sunday, a presentation on Monday morning, and a round of simple interviews in the afternoon, their work in Pittsburgh was more or less done. Wyatt drove Faye back to the hotel. The moment he swiped the key card and opened the door, he saw Alex limping out of the bathroom. I was just about to call you. What's up? Renee invited us to dinner tonight. She already sent me the address. I'm exhausted from today. I'm not going. Hey, come on. Alex's voice rose in panic. He slapped his bandaged leg. I'm like this. How am I supposed to get there? Wyatt tossed his bag on the table and flopped onto the bed in a starfish pose. Then just tell her you can't make it. Are you really that desperate for a free meal? Alex stammered. I already told her we'd be there. Hearing his tone, Wyatt sat bolt upright. He gave Alex a long, suspicious look. Alex had not only washed his hair and changed into new clothes, but he had also shaved. Something clicked. Alex felt a prickle of unease under Wyatt's gaze. What are you looking at me for? You dog, Wyatt said. Don't tell me you've got a thing for her. Alex nearly jumped out of his skin. Don't be ridiculous. She's almost 30, and I just turned 21. An older woman is a treasure. You'd be getting a whole treasure chest. Stop talking nonsense. Didn't you say it yourself? When it comes to dating, you either go for older or younger. Older women are mature. Younger ones are obedient. You've got Alex and Renee. It's a perfect match. Go to hell. Wyatt glanced at his watch. What time did she say? 7. Send me the address. Alex obediently sent the location. Wyatt copied it, checked it on the map, and saw it wasn't too far. He stood up. I'm gonna go wash my face. I'll take you there in a bit. At 6:30 p.m., they left the hotel. The drive took less than 15 minutes. Alex checked the time. Should we wait in the car for a bit? She might not be here yet. Just text her and ask. Isn't that weird? Just as Wyatt was about to pull out his own phone, Alex yelped. She just texted me. What did she say? She said she's already here and asked if we've left yet. Then what are you waiting for? Get out of the car. Alex dragged his injured leg out of the car. He and Wyatt walked into the restaurant, and he was about to scan the room when Renee stood up from a table to their left, waving enthusiastically. Her outfit today was clearly chosen with care. She wore a brown knit beanie, a cream-colored sweater, and her white down jacket was draped over the chair next to her. She had on black fleece-lined stockings and a pair of matching brown thigh-high boots. Wyatt gave her a quick once-over, then pushed the starstruck Alex toward her table. How's your leg? Much better. I think it's scabbed over. Here, the menu. You guys order. They sat down across from her. Seeing Alex was unresponsive, Wyatt took the menu and started ordering for them. Alex sat awkwardly, unsure what to say. He and Renee had texted a lot over the past 2 days, but meeting in person, he felt shy. Finally, Renee broke the silence. How did your business in Pittsburgh go? Pretty much wrapped up. What exactly were you here for? A job fair. A job fair. Renee frowned. You go to school in New York, but you came all the way to Pittsburgh for a job fair. We were here representing a company. Not looking for jobs, Alex explained quickly. Oh, Renee was confused. Not a student, but representing a company. Alex looked up and saw her furrowed brow. He started his own company, he added. Renee nodded, not pressing further. A college student starting a business wasn't exactly unheard of these days. She herself had joined her family's jewelry company after graduating and was now the manager of one of their retail stores. The night her purse was stolen, she had just finished dinner with colleagues and was heading home. Her car was parked across the street, which was why she'd been waiting for the light to change. So, Renee, what do you do? Alex asked, finally finding his voice. I work at a jewelry store, she said with a smile. Oh, that's nice. Alex had practically zero experience talking to women. When he'd been with Lily, he played the role of the devoted puppy dog. Now he was tongue-tied again. Luckily, Wyatt jumped in. Do you sell all kinds of jewelry? Yes. Our main focus is on pearl jewelry. Earrings, necklaces, bracelets. We also have more expensive pieces like jade and agate, but those are much pricier. I was actually thinking of buying a gift for my girlfriend, Wyatt said smoothly. Is your store far? If not, I could stop by tomorrow. Of course. I'll definitely give you a discount. What about you, Alex? Do you have a girlfriend? No. The waitress arrived with their food, and Wyatt dug in, occasionally livening up the atmosphere. Under his guidance, Alex gradually opened up and started a deeper conversation with Renee, calling her Renee in a way that made Wyatt cringe. Just then, Faye called. Wyatt saw her name on the screen, and, though he could have easily taken the call at the table, he deliberately stood up. I have to take this. He walked toward the entrance. Faye was calling to ask what time they were heading back tomorrow. Wyatt, remembering Alex's hospital appointment and the trip to the jewelry store, simply said, "We'll leave after lunch." Faye acknowledged and hung up. Wyatt then quietly sent a text to Alex. "I'm heading out. If Renee asks, just say I had an emergency." Alex saw the message and quickly replied, "Then how am I supposed to get back? Have her drive you." "What? I can't ask her to do that." "Wyatt, are you an idiot? Didn't you see the Bentley key on her keychain? She's a sugar mama. If you land her, you'll be set for life. Isn't that your dream?" Alex read the message, completely dumbfounded. Renee noticed the change in his expression. "What's wrong?" "He had an emergency and had to leave." "Wow, you college students are so busy," Renee laughed. "He's not just any college student." "What do you mean?" "His name is Wyatt. As in W-Y-T-T. You can probably find him online." "Is he famous?" "Sort of." Renee, intrigued, immediately pulled out her phone and searched his name. When she saw his online encyclopedia entry, her eyes widened in shock. "Founder of C. Investments. He invested in MiHoYo, Ofo Bikes, and YW. He invested in YW Lingerie, too." Renee was very familiar with YW and owned a lot of their clothes, which explained her surprise. "Yeah, he's good friends with the owner of YW." "Oh my God." Renee's entire worldview had been shattered. She had assumed Wyatt was just an ordinary college kid, but it turned out he was already so successful at such a young age. Seeing her strong reaction, Alex felt a pang of jealousy. He knew if Wyatt had stayed, he would have become the star of the dinner. He poured himself a glass of soda and drank it in one gulp. "What about you?" Renee asked. "Are you in his company or—" "Me?" Alex laughed self-deprecatingly. "I'm not as brilliant as him. I'm just managing a vending machine company he started a while back. I don't understand investing, and I don't have any other skills. I'm just coasting on my roommate's success." "Don't sell yourself short," Renee said softly. "At least you're brave, aren't you?" Back at the hotel, Wyatt worried that Alex would be too shy to ask Renee for a ride. After a moment of hesitation, he sent Renee a text. "Hey, something urgent came up, and I had to get back to the hotel for a video conference. If you have time after dinner, would you mind giving Alex a ride back?" Renee saw the message and quickly replied, "Sure." Wyatt then started a video call with Chloe. She had just gotten out of the shower. Having not seen Wyatt for nearly 10 days, she answered immediately. "When are you coming back to New York tomorrow?" "Probably around 3 or 4 in the afternoon." "Why not in the morning?" "I told you about Alex. He has to go to the hospital tomorrow morning to get his dressing changed." "Oh, when I get to the city tomorrow, I'll drop Alex and Faye at the subway, and then I'll come stay the night at your place." "How's that sound? Is that a good idea?" "Why not? You don't have class tomorrow afternoon. If I get back early, we can even go see a movie or go for a walk." Chloe climbed on her top bunk, holding her phone, and mumbled quietly, "Who cares about a movie? We might as well just go straight to the hotel." Wyatt didn't catch that. "What did you say?" "Nothing. We'll figure it out tomorrow. Just call me when you get here." "Who's in the dorm tonight?" "Isabel and Ashley are here. Sophie's not." "Has Ashley been in touch with that Trevor guy?" "I don't know. I don't think so. I've been so busy with this job fair stuff, I'm exhausted. I've finally figured out the 2 best things in life." "What are they?" "Being with you and sleeping." Renee's car was, in fact, a Bentley. The moment Alex sat down, his heart started pounding. Back in the restaurant, at least there were other people around, and Wyatt had warmed things up before leaving, so it hadn't been too awkward. But this was different. A small, enclosed space. Just the 2 of them. It was only now that Alex noticed a faint, sweet scent. Her perfume, he guessed. His brain was on the verge of short-circuiting. "When are you guys heading back tomorrow?" "Oh," Alex said, flustered. "Probably in the afternoon. I have to go to the hospital in the morning to get my dressing changed. And didn't Wyatt say he wanted to go to your store to pick out a gift for his girlfriend?" "Whenever is fine. New York isn't far anyway. It's only a 2-hour drive." "Right. Next time you're in Pittsburgh, if you need anything, feel free to call me." Alex hesitated, then managed to smile. "I'm just worried, miss. Faye won't even remember who I am by then." "What kind of person do you take me for?" Renee said, then added, "Around mid-April, we're opening another jewelry store in New York. I might be there for the opening ceremony. If you have time, give me a call or send a text," Alex said quickly. "I'll treat you to dinner." "Okay." Renee smiled faintly and pulled up to the hotel. Alex unbuckled his seatbelt and pushed the door open to get out. But in his excitement, he bent his knee too quickly and tore the wound open again, letting out a yelp of pain. What's wrong? Nothing. Alex gritted his teeth, got out of the car, and forced a smile. I'm heading in now. Okay. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Watching Alex limp toward the hotel entrance, Renee smiled to herself, then drove off, disappearing from sight. The night passed without incident. The next morning, Wyatt drove Alex to the hospital. After a half-hour appointment to change the dressing, they went straight to Renee's jewelry store. CMU had 5 campuses, and Renee's store was near one of them, not far from the city center. Hello, welcome. As they walked in, a young woman in a work uniform approached them. I'm looking for Renee, Wyatt said with a smile. You're looking for our manager? And you are. Manager? Wyatt was prepared for this, but Alex was shocked. Renee had only said she worked at a jewelry store, not that she was the manager. Just as Wyatt was about to speak, Renee emerged from the back. They're my friends. You can get back to work. Okay. Renee, you've been holding out on us, Wyatt laughed. Turns out you're the manager here, and you never told me you were the boss of C. Investments, she retorted. Wyatt shot a look at Alex, who guiltily averted his gaze. Wyatt shrugged. Let's not stand here, complimenting each other. I've got a colleague waiting for me at the hotel. We should get down to business. Renee smiled. She was also in a work uniform, but hers was a step up from the employees, giving her a sharp, professional air. She led them to the counter. Come take a look. These are our best sellers. Your girlfriend isn't too old, right? I think a pearl piece would be perfect. The other stuff is usually for an older crowd. Wyatt scanned the display case, then pointed to a pearl necklace. This one looks nice. How much? With a discount for $1,000 even. Renee smiled. Honestly, you can get a cheap pearl necklace for a few $100s. The price goes up the bigger, rounder, and more lustrous the pearls are. The pearls on this one are basically top grade, each one handpicked from thousands. Is a single pearl more suitable for a younger person? Yes, Renee nodded. But don't be fooled. Even though it's only one pearl, it's set with diamonds, so it's not cheap either. Men rarely agonized over purchases. Wyatt made his decision quickly. I'll take 3 of the strands and 1 of the single pearl ones. I thought it was for your girlfriend. Why so many? 1 for my mom, 1 for my mother-in-law, and 1 for my girlfriend. As for the last one, Wyatt pointed at Alex. This guy got dragged along on this trip against his will. I can't let him go back empty-handed. Let him take a strand back for his mom. It's not like he has a girlfriend. Wyatt deliberately emphasized the words, he has no girlfriend. Alex missed the subtlety. Are you serious? He blurted out. Wyatt ignored him, pulling a credit card from his wallet without even asking for the total, and handed it to Renee. She didn't stand on ceremony, taking the card to the register. She gave him a significant discount, essentially throwing in one of the necklaces for free, then joked, I didn't expect to meet you guys and land a big sale. Well, we're heading back now. See you around, Wyatt said. Renee smiled. See you around. They left quickly. As they got in the car, Wyatt teased. You're just going to leave like that? Not going to chat her up a bit more? Cut the crap. There's no way she'd be into me. Let's just go. You should talk to her. You might have a chance. Alex fell silent. He buckled his seatbelt and saw Renee standing at the entrance of the store, waving at him. He quickly rolled down the window and waved back. Goodbye, he thought to himself. As expected, they left at 1 in the afternoon and arrived in New York at 3:20. Once they were in the city, Wyatt unceremoniously dropped Faye and Alex at the nearest subway station, muttered something about having things to do, and drove off alone. Alex's leg was just a scrape, and it had already scabbed over after his morning appointment, so walking was no problem. Wyatt drove straight to the music school, parked downstairs, and immediately called Chloe to come down. You really just left them at the subway station? Yep, that's so mean. Mean or not, they're not as important as you. Chloe beamed and hopped into the passenger seat. Wyatt handed her the collection of jewelry boxes. She looked at them, a frown creasing her brow. What's this? Open it and see. Chloe opened one of the boxes. A delicate pearl necklace lay nestled inside. Her eyes lit up. For me? Yep. I bought it for you this morning. Do you like it? Yes, Chloe nodded emphatically. Then she asked, why are there so many? The bottom 2 are for your mom and my mom, Wyatt explained. Give them to them the next time you have a break. You can say you bought them. Hearing this, Chloe looked up, her bright eyes filled with emotion as she gazed at Wyatt. Why are you looking at me like that? He chuckled. Chloe didn't answer. She just leaned over and captured his lips with hers, pouring 1,000 unspoken words into the kiss. What should we do first? Get something to eat, or it's not even 4 o'clock yet. Let's go to the hotel then. I drove Alex to the hospital this morning, then to the jewelry store, then drove for over 2 hours to get back here without a break. I'm exhausted. Okay. Wyatt drove to their usual hotel. As soon as he saw the bed, he couldn't help but yawn. He swiped the key card, turned on the AC, and took off his jacket. I'm going to take a shower first, but we're going out to eat later. Why don't you just take a nap? I can wake you up at 6. I feel gross from the drive. It's okay, Chloe said with a smile. I don't mind. Her smile seemed to have a healing power, like the sun breaking through the clouds, warm and intoxicating. Wyatt's lips curved into a smile of his own. He stepped forward and pulled her in his arms, and the two of them began to sway, moving around the room as if they were on a dance floor. Have you not been eating properly? You feel even thinner, Wyatt said, feigning an assessment of her weight. No, I haven't. Every time Isabel and Michael have something good to eat, she brings some back for us to share. I feel like I've gained weight. A little weight is good. More comfortable to hug. Was the trip to Pittsburgh successful? Very, but I'm going to be busy for a while. There's always so much to do when a new project starts. Chloe sighed, resting her head on his shoulder. I feel so useless. I can't even help you. Don't be silly. Just having you by my side is the biggest help I could ask for. You should get some sleep. Yeah. Chloe took the hair tie from her wrist, pulled her long hair back, and sat on the bed after pulling back the covers. Once Wyatt lay down, she placed a hand on his cheek. I'm not tired. You can sleep on my lap. Wyatt happily accepted. He rested his head on her thighs and closed his eyes in contentment. Time seemed to stop. Soon, his breathing became deep and even. Chloe rested one hand on his chest, while the other gently massaged his temples. Once he was fast asleep, the hand that had been on his chest moved down to his stomach, playfully tracing the abs she had always wanted to touch but never dared to. She had intended to wake him at 6, but seeing how peacefully he was sleeping, Chloe couldn't bring herself to do it. It wasn't until past 7 that Wyatt groggily opened his eyes. His face was buried in her chest, so the moment he stirred, she knew. You're awake. Wyatt grunted in affirmation. What time is it? A little past 7. He lay flat on her thighs, his eyes open. I thought you were going to wake me at 6. You were sleeping so soundly, I didn't have the heart to. Chloe patted his forehead. You need to get up. My legs are completely numb. Wyatt quickly sat up. Seeing Chloe kneading her thighs with her small fists, he, the culprit, immediately took over, lifting one of her legs to massage it for her. Should I do the other one, too? Chloe obediently extended her other leg. As he rubbed her legs, Wyatt chuckled. Guess what I'm taking you to eat tonight? Spicy miso ramen. Correct. And what if I said I want to go to a cheap rice bowl place? Also correct. I knew you were messing with me. Come on, let's go get some noodles. My legs are numb. I can't walk. Then I'll carry you. Chloe raised her arms. Okay. Wyatt scooped her up on his back and walked out the door. When the elevator doors opened, 2 young women were inside. The shy Chloe immediately tapped Wyatt's shoulder, signaling for him to put her down. Unfazed, Wyatt pressed the button for the first floor before setting her on her feet. The 2 women exchanged a glance, their eyes filled with envy. As soon as Wyatt and Chloe stepped out of the elevator, they started whispering to each other. After finishing a bowl of ramen at the noodle shop, Wyatt began telling Chloe about his adventures in Pittsburgh, focusing mainly on the saga of Alex and Renee. Chloe listened with rapt attention, occasionally interjecting with questions. How old is she? Does Alex like her? She's the manager of a jewelry store. Do you think anything will happen between them? Wyatt shook his head. It's tough. They're in different cities, there's a big age gap, and their family backgrounds are worlds apart. Alex definitely has some feelings for her. He got played by Lily and has never really been cared for by a girl before. That night, Renee came to the hospital to see him and then treated him to dinner. I'd be shocked if his heart didn't skip a beat. But he's timid and has a lot of pride. So even if he likes her, he probably wouldn't dare to show it. I wonder what Renee is thinking, Chloe said. If she's interested, you could play matchmaker. Yeah, but she's so much older than us. She's had a lot more life experience. And as a jewelry store manager, she deals with all sorts of people. I can't read her at all, so I don't want to get involved. Wyatt paused, then added, but I totally get Alex. Get what about him? That feeling of meeting someone you really like when you feel like you have nothing to offer. That fear of pursuing them. Chloe scoffed. You're nothing like him. You were so shameless when you were trying to win me over. Don't talk nonsense. When was I ever shameless? You were clearly. Never mind, I won't say it. You wouldn't admit it anyway. So what if I didn't have money or status back then? At least I was handsome, Wyatt said confidently. That night we first met by the lake. Don't tell me you weren't captivated. You wish. I was not. Liar, Wyatt said, full of himself. That night, when I played Hey There Delilah on your guitar, your eyes were glued to me. Stop being so conceited. But seriously, I remember that night like it was yesterday. Then tell me, what was I wearing that night? A white faux-layered shirt, baggy jeans, and flat sneakers. Probably no socks. Your ankles were showing. Weren't you drunk that night? How do you remember so clearly? Because some people, you see them once, and you never forget them for the rest of your life. EW, hey, can't you play along? I'm trying to be romantic here. No. Wyatt threw an arm around Chloe's shoulders, his tone playfully arrogant. Say whatever you want. I've already tricked you into falling for me. You're stuck with me for life. A lifetime. Yep, a lifetime. Back at the office, Faye had already done a preliminary screening of the resumes, weeding out the less impressive ones. As soon as Wyatt returned, she handed him the shortlisted pile. Wyatt took them and went straight to find Chris. So that guy I asked you to poach, did you get in touch with him? Chris took his hands off the keyboard when Wyatt walked in. He nodded. I contacted him. He's not against the idea, but his demands are high. How high? He wants $150,000 a year, with bonuses calculated separately. And he doesn't work during the day. Says he prefers to work at night. He's a weird guy. You'll see when you talk to him. He was recommended by Miho Yo, so his skills must be top-notch, Wyatt replied. You know how it is? People with real talent always have their little quirks or habits that are hard for others to understand. 150 grand is a lot, but we don't know the first thing about the technical side. We need someone to steer the ship. If he's as good as they say, I can afford it. So, I should set up a meeting for you to talk to him in person? Chris asked. Yep. What's the deal with Alex? He went on a trip with you and came back injured. You didn't ask him. He said he was playing hero and saving a damsel in distress. Like I believe that. You better believe it. This time it's actually true. What? Chris's interest was instantly piqued. What happened? Wyatt waved a hand, deliberately stringing him along. I'll tell you tonight. For now, just set up a meeting with. What's his name again? Dexter Duan, right? Set it up with him. Preferably for tonight or tomorrow night. The technical interviews are on Friday. All right, I'll message him now. Calling is faster. He says he hates taking calls. Text only. Wyatt couldn't help but laugh. Then text him. After sending the message, Chris forwarded Dexter's contact info to Wyatt. They agreed to meet at the office at 8 p.m. Wyatt finished his own work around 5 in the afternoon. After hours, the office slowly emptied out as employees left in small groups. A few stayed a little later to wrap up their tasks. Once most people were gone, Sam, who had just finished making a to-do list for the next day, was about to head home when he noticed Abby still at her desk. He glanced at the empty reception area, then walked over to her. Where's Rachel? Oh, she already left. Then why are you still here? Sam asked. Wyatt has a meeting with someone tonight. I thought I'd stay a bit longer in case he needed me. Abby explained. Sam didn't say much, just murmured quietly, I'll wait for you then. With that, he turned and went back into his office. Abby glanced at his closed door, a faint smile playing on her lips. At a little past 7:50 p.m., a young man with glasses, carrying a backpack and wearing a black down jacket, arrived at the main door. He didn't knock, just pulled his phone from his pocket and sent a text. Wyatt saw the message and came out of his office to open the door. Mr. Wyatt, that's me. Wyatt smiled and extended a hand. Please come in. Dexter Duan radiated a strong tech nerd vibe. Under his jacket, he wore a plaid shirt. The lenses of his glasses were thick, and a mechanical keyboard stuck out of the top of his backpack. Wyatt led him to his office, but before he could even offer him a seat, Dexter had already sat down. Seeing that he wasn't one for pleasantries, Wyatt got straight to the point. The conditions you laid out, I agree to all of them. What's the soonest you can start? The 1st of next month. Perfect. I'll have everything ready for you by then. You can start at the office on the 1st. But before that, I need your help with online technical interviews. Me? Yes. I'm hiring you as the technical director. The people you'll be interviewing will be your future subordinates. You pick your own team. From now on, I'll just give you tasks, and you complete them on time. If you do well, I won't be cheap on compensation. If you do poorly, I won't blame anyone else. I'll come straight to you. On technical matters, that is. Okay, then it's settled. I'll have someone prepare your contract tomorrow. As for the interviews, I'll have our HR manager add you. Just follow their lead. All right, I'm leaving now. Wyatt nodded. He was about to offer a handshake out of habit, but Dexter had already stood up and walked out, having spoken fewer than 20 words the entire time. Wyatt didn't mind at all. Everyone has their own strengths. For Dexter, social skills were clearly not his forte, but in terms of technical expertise, he was a renowned master in the industry. Just then, Abby knocked and came in, carrying 2 cups of tea. She frowned. Wyatt, did he just leave? Yeah. Wyatt nodded. Why are you still here? Oh, I thought you might need me to stay. Well, you can pack up. I'll drive you to the subway station in a bit. It's late, and it's not safe for you to go home alone. Abby paused, then said awkwardly, if that's okay. Sam is still here. He's still here? Then I won't worry about you. Just remember to turn off all the lights when you two leave. Oh. Abby looked down and backed out of the office. After Wyatt left, Abby packed her things. She glanced toward Sam's office, then used the reflection in the glass door of the adjacent office to check her appearance. Finally, she pushed open Sam's door and whispered, "They're all gone." "Then let's head back, too," Sam said quickly. He packed his laptop in his bag. He and Abby walked side by side to the main entrance, turned off the lights, locked the door, and got into the elevator. So, the atmosphere in the elevator felt a little awkward with just the two of them. Abby broke the silence. "Looks like it's going to rain and get cold again tomorrow." "Yeah, I saw the weather forecast. Remember to dress warmly. The office has heating, so it won't be cold. You have a long commute, so remember to bring an umbrella." Okay. They stepped out of the office building. The tech park was nearly deserted at this hour. They walked side by side toward the subway station, the moonlight stretching their shadows long behind them. At that moment, Sam suddenly remembered the advice Wyatt had given him during that poker game in the dorm. He instinctively turned to look at Abby, his lips twitching as if he wanted to say something. Abby had already noticed him looking out of the corner of her eye, but she didn't say anything. She had been waiting for him to say those words, the same words she wanted to say but was too shy to voice. Not everyone could be like Wyatt, who upon meeting someone he liked, could just come right out and say, "I like you." For people like Sam, and for people like Abby, though they had never said those 4 words, every word of concern, every greeting was just another way of saying, "I like you." Abby. Seeing the subway entrance in the distance, Sam realized that if he didn't say what was on his mind now, he might never get another chance. He finally stopped walking and called her name. Abby's heart skipped a beat. She stopped too, feigning surprise. "What is it?" Sam's face turned bright red, his clenched fists slick with sweat. Usually so deliberate in his speech, the words now came out in a rush. "I like you. Will you go out with me?" After saying it, he squeezed his eyes shut in a mixture of fear and anticipation. Abby's eyes widened in genuine shock. When she didn't respond for a long moment, Sam quickly added, "It's okay if you don't want to. Liking you is my thing. Even if you don't like me, I'll still like you." "I didn't say I didn't want to." Then what? Now you're supposed to ask me. Does that mean you'll go out with me?" Just as Sam was about to ask, Abby smiled and nodded. "Yes, I will." Sam seemed even more flustered. He had only rehearsed those first 2 lines in his head. He hadn't thought about what to say if she actually said yes. Seeing his beet-red face, Abby decided to add fuel to the fire. She took his hand and continued walking toward the subway station. It was only then that she realized his palm was completely drenched in sweat. When they reached the entrance, she pulled a crumpled wad of toilet paper from her pocket. Not tissues, but the kind you tear off a roll. She tore off 2 squares, handed them to Sam, and with a soft "see you tomorrow," she turned and hurried up the escalator. Sam stared after her, slowly coming back to his senses. He wiped the sweat from his palm and broke into a goofy, idiotic grin. Turns out, telling someone you like them wasn't that hard after all. Sam and Abby were bound to get together. They saw each other at the office every day, and Wyatt had long since deciphered their feelings from their glances, actions, and conversations. What did surprise Wyatt, however, was returning to his dorm to find Alex sitting at his computer, engrossed in a chat with Renee. Alex was so focused that Wyatt stood behind him for a good while without him noticing. It was only when Chris walked over that Alex frantically closed the chat window. "Wyatt's been watching you for the last 5 minutes, Chris said, waving a dismissive hand. "What are you hiding for?" Alex immediately flew into a rage. "Wyatt, are you sick? Spying on people's chats?" Wyatt didn't say a word, just quietly returned to his own desk. The moment he sat down, a series of messages from Chloe popped up. "Chloe, dork, I have to tell you something. Chloe, that Trevor Dayne guy came to see Ashley today. Chloe." They were talking downstairs for a long time. It seemed like he was trying to explain things to her. Wyatt, and then Chloe, and then Ashley came up to grab something and left with him. "Wyatt, what's going on?" "Chloe, I'm not sure exactly. When she gets back, Isabel and I will ask her about it." "Wyatt, yeah, it definitely should." They chatted for another 10 minutes. Suddenly, Chloe wrote, "She's back. I'll talk to you later. Gotta go." Wyatt smiled, plugged his phone into charge, grabbed some clothes from his closet, and headed to the bathroom for a shower. Meanwhile, in dorm room 205, the moment Ashley returned, Chloe and Isabel simultaneously put down their phones and fixed their gazes on her. Ashley looked from Chloe to Isabel, then lowered her head. "What are you guys staring at me for? Where have you been?" "Just out to dinner." "Didn't you say you were done with him?" Chloe asked first. "How come you went out to eat with him again?" "It was all a misunderstanding," Ashley explained. "His real name is Trevor Gallo. His agency made him change it. To get used to the new name, he started introducing himself by his stage name to everyone he met after that. But didn't Wyatt say that agencies don't let their trainees date? Isabel countered. I never said we were getting together right now, Ashley retorted. He told me that after this round of intensive training, the company is going to cut a bunch of people. The success rate is really low. He might be out of his contract in 3 months. Chloe felt like Ashley had been brainwashed, but hearing her explanation, she didn't know what to say. Isabel exchanged a look with Chloe, then said to Ashley directly, Why don't you invite him out this weekend? We can all have dinner together. Then you can have Michael and Wyatt talk to him. Forget Michael, you know Wyatt. His judgment is usually spot on. Let him check this guy out for you. Chloe and I were watching you two talk from upstairs, and we both think there's something unsettling about this Trevor guy. Ashley neither refused nor agreed. We'll see, she said simply. She wasn't sure if Trevor had the time, or if he'd even be willing to meet her roommates and friends. But at the same time, she felt Isabel had a point. She was acting nonchalant, but deep down, she was already developing feelings for Trevor. On the other hand, she was afraid that, just as Chloe had warned, she didn't know him well enough. She was caught in a state of indecision. Chloe quickly relayed what Ashley had said to Wyatt in a text. After reading it, he simply replied, Then we'll deal with it this weekend. Chloe, however, was worked up. She typed furiously. Ashley was always calling me a hopeless romantic, but look at her. She said she was done with him, but he comes over, says a few words, and she's off to dinner with him. She's the real hopeless romantic. Wyatt, try to see it from her perspective. Imagine if all 3 of your roommates had boyfriends who visited them every week. Wouldn't you also be hoping for a romantic relationship? Then, at that exact moment, a guy who seems decent in every way appears and actively pursues you. In that situation, you might act just like Ashley and not think things through so much. Chloe, no, I wouldn't. I only got together with you after I got to know you well enough. Wyatt, really? Chloe, really? Wyatt, then tell me, what's my biggest hobby? Without a second thought, Chloe replied, Your biggest hobby is me, of course. And it can only be me. Wyatt was amazed at how clever Chloe had become. None of his little traps worked on her anymore. He was just now realizing that all those times he thought he was tricking her, she wasn't clueless at all. She was just pretending to be naive for his sake. Wyatt, amazing. You got it right. Wyatt, don't worry too much about Ashley's situation. I'll talk to her alone this weekend. She's not stupid. As long as the risks and benefits are laid out clearly, it should be fine. Chloe, okay. Chloe, whatever you say. On Friday, Wyatt called Leo to let him know he'd be visiting on Saturday. Leo had been practically invisible on weekends ever since he and Sophie had started living together. Wyatt had asked Sophie about it a few times, and she'd said Leo was trying to finish all his required credits this semester, so he could do an internship over the summer without having to be on campus. Friday morning, Wyatt, Faye, Dexter, and the technical director from MiHoYo interviewed over 20 CMU graduates. Wyatt mostly just listened in, since he didn't understand the technical side. Dexter and the MiHoYo director ran the show. Although the resumes were all impressive, the interviews revealed significant gaps in skill and experience. After some discussion, they selected only 5 candidates. Wyatt gave the final approval, and Faye immediately sent out the offers. After finishing up at the office, Wyatt drove to the music school in the evening. Sophie was in the dorm. Isabel had been picked up by Michael after her first class. When Chloe got Wyatt's text, she didn't go down right away. Chloe, it's just me and Ashley in the dorm. Wyatt, then ask her to come down with you. Chloe, okay. Chloe got up and said to Ashley, Come on, let's go get dinner together. Isn't Wyatt coming to see you today? Ashley asked. Oh, he's just downstairs. Let's go down together. Otherwise, you'll have to walk to the dining hall later. All right then, Ashley said, her tone knowing. I guess I'll be the third wheel again. The two of them walked down, arm in arm, and got into Wyatt's car. This time, Chloe didn't take the passenger seat, sitting in the back with Ashley instead. Wyatt drove to a nearby mall, and the 3 of them went into a restaurant that specialized in build-your-own rice bowls. Chloe sat next to Ashley and, as soon as they were seated, shot Wyatt a meaningful look. Just as Wyatt was about to speak, Ashley spoke up. Wyatt, your cousin goes to NYU, Tish, right? Yeah, she's a freshman. Can you ask her to do me another favor? What is it? Well, Ashley hesitated. Trevor has already explained everything else, but there's one thing I still can't figure out. What's that? The first time I went to his campus, we ran into his roommate on the street. Trevor said hi to him, but his roommate just ignored him. It wasn't like he didn't hear or see him. He completely blew him off like he was a stranger. Ashley continued, thinking aloud, I've been thinking about it. I know roommates fight all the time, but if they were really on bad terms, why would Trevor say hi in the first place? I just don't get it. So, you want my cousin to find out about his relationship with his roommate? To see if the problem is with Trevor or the roommate? Yes. My cousin's just a freshman and the seniors are mostly off campus doing internships now, so it might not be easy to find anything out. But I can ask her. Ashley nodded, still looking troubled. Chloe unwrapped 2 pairs of chopsticks, wiped them with a napkin, and handed one to Wyatt. Taking the chopsticks, Wyatt continued the conversation. Didn't you say he signed with an agency and had to go into intensive training? Yeah, he's already there. He said it's really strict. They can only use their phones at night and on Sundays. The rest of the time is all training. Wyatt smiled. So, are you hoping he makes it big, or are you hoping he gets cut from the agency? There are no strangers here. You could be honest. I honestly don't know. I haven't really thought about it that much. Wyatt looked up at Ashley. A relationship is a lifelong thing. How can you not think about it? Let me break it down for you. If he makes it, he'll go down one of 2 paths. The first is he becomes a huge star, a household name. If that happens, he'll have an endless schedule of appearances. And since he's an acting major, he'll most likely become an actor. And as an actor, he'll inevitably have to work with actresses. Kissing scenes, bed scenes, all sorts of scandals. You have to ask yourself if you can accept that. Of course, the chances of this happening are very low. The other path is he becomes a second-rate, third-rate, or even a no-name celebrity. A nobody in the entertainment industry. But from what I know, artists like that are under immense pressure. The agency will exploit them, and trolls will attack them. Most importantly, very few relationships in the entertainment world last. If he doesn't make it, what do you think he'll do afterward? What can he do? That's something you need to consider, too. You can't get into a relationship and then have to support him. Ashley, you've been talking to him for a while now. Do you know his basic situation? Just as Ashley was about to speak, Wyatt cut her off. And by basic situation, I don't mean just about him. I mean about everything else. Has he told you about his family? What his dad does? What his mom does? Does he have siblings? And has he introduced you to any of his friends? If someone is serious about a relationship, these things come up naturally. If they don't, it means he's deliberately hiding something. He doesn't want you to know too much, because he's afraid of things getting messy if the truth comes out. If you've met his friends, you could get a good sense of what kind of person he is. You know what they say, birds of a feather flock together. When you're dating, everyone wants to show their best side. So don't ever think that the person he is in front of you is the person he really is. Wyatt spoke as he ate, sounding like a seasoned relationship expert. As Ashley listened, her expression grew numb, her thoughts drifting. Feeling he'd said enough, Wyatt softened his tone. Don't overthink it. It could be that we're just being cynical. Players are usually after one of 2 things, sex or money. As long as you protect yourself on those 2 fronts, you should be fine. Chloe added, it's mainly because none of us know him, and he introduced himself with a stage name instead of his real one. That's why we're... I know, Ashley said, forcing a smile. I'm not stupid. I'm not that easy to fool. After she said that, Wyatt dropped the subject. The 3 of them ate their rice bowls, but Ashley was clearly distracted. Because everything Wyatt had just said, she had never considered. And Trevor had never once told her about his family, nor had he ever introduced her to his friends. After dropping Ashley off at her dorm, Wyatt and Chloe headed back to the hotel. The next morning, they drove over to Leo's apartment. When they got there, Wyatt didn't text. He just walked up and knocked on the door. The second Sophie opened it, Wyatt burst in, shouting, "Busted! I knew it." Sophie rolled her eyes. "Wyatt, keep it down. The walls in this place are paper thin. What's the problem? It's the middle of the day. You 2 are the ones who need to keep it down at night." "You." Chloe slapped Wyatt on the back. "Don't be gross, or I'll smack you for real." Leo was in the bedroom reading. It had been a while, and he looked like he'd lost a little weight, but his complexion was good. Seeing Wyatt and Chloe, he closed his book and got up. "What's up?" "Nothing. Just missed you. Don't make me puke. I've got 2 new projects I'm spinning up. I want you to stay in the city this summer and take charge of one of them." "Me?" Leo looked stunned. "You think I can handle that? It's a gaming company. I figured you'd be interested. Just give it a shot. If it's not a fit, I'll find you something else." A grin spread across Leo's face. "If things go well, I can wrap up my school commitments before the summer. After that, I can work full-time." Wyatt listened as he wandered over to the kitchen and peeked inside. Seeing it was fully stocked with oil, salt, soy sauce, and vinegar, he smiled. "Look at you 2, cooking your own meals now." "Yeah," Sophie said, smiling. "He's actually a pretty good cook, and it'd save a lot of money." "Chloe." "Yeah. Let's just eat here for lunch." "Okay." Sophie chimed in. "We haven't gone grocery shopping yet, but the market is right outside the complex." "Perfect," Wyatt said. "Chloe, you and Sophie can go grab the groceries. I'll chat with Leo for a bit." "Okay." Sophie went to grab her phone, and a moment later, she and Chloe were out the door. Wyatt sat on the couch. He took the glass of hot water Leo handed him and said, "This summer, I'm putting you in the gaming company as the director of marketing." "Hold on." I know what you're going to say. Just listen. Don't worry about whether you have the ability or not. I'll teach you what to do. I'm confident I can get this project off the ground. Making you marketing director is just temporary. Once the project is stable, I'll make you the general manager. Is that really appropriate? It's perfectly appropriate. I've thought it through. If you join investments, no matter how hard you studied, you'd never catch up to Carter and Sam. With them ahead of you, it would be hard for me to give you a respectable position. But this gaming company is different. I'm just starting to hire now. By the time the team gels and gets a game out, it'll be summer at the earliest. If you come on then, you'll be part of the founding team. As long as the game is successful, I'll have every reason to promote you. That way, the people under you won't have any complaints, and you can take the position with a clear conscience. Since you've got all planned out, I won't be polite about it, Leo said. After all, I have Sophie now. I don't want her living in this tiny apartment for long. I used to think that if I couldn't find a good job after graduation, I'd just be on my own. I wouldn't starve. But it's different now. I have Sophie. I want her to have a good life as soon as possible. He sighed. A few days ago, we went to the farmer's market, and I saw her haggling with a vendor. It left a bad taste in my mouth. On one hand, I feel like the luckiest guy in the world to have found such an amazing girlfriend. But on the other, seeing her have to argue over a few bucks because she's with me, it just twists my stomach. Wyatt took a sip of water and smiled. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Your daddy is a multi-millionaire now. What do you have to worry about? Screw you. Leo shoved him away, then remembered something. Hey, do you remember that little diner we always went to in high school? The one with the amazing Philly cheesesteaks. Of course. I was on a video call with my mom the other day, and she told me the owner's son bought a house in Austin. The owner closed up the shop and moved to Texas to be with him. No way. The owner's wife was so nice. Back when we were broke, we'd order one cheesesteak to split, and she'd always throw in an extra order of fries for us. Yeah, they chatted for a while longer, and before long, Sophie and Chloe returned with bags full of groceries. Since they'd bought pork ribs for a soup, Leo put on an apron and got busy in the kitchen. Sophie quickly went in to help. Chloe tried to join them, but the kitchen was too small, and Sophie gently pushed her out. Wyatt waved her over with a smile. Don't go in there and make a mess. We're the guests today. Just come sit. Sophie called from the kitchen. He's right. You just sit. Besides, you guys are the first guests we've ever had in our home. Ooh, listen to that. Our home, Wyatt teased. Sophie, I remember when I dropped Chloe off at the dorm's freshman year. You were so shy. What happened to you? Chloe, control your man's mouth. I don't want to hear him yapping anymore. Lunch was 3 dishes and a soup, all cooked by Leo. Both he and Wyatt had started learning to cook in the 6th grade. Back then, they had early morning and late evening study sessions, which meant waking up before dawn. Their parents were often too tired to get up that early, so the boys had to fend for themselves. First came noodles, then fried rice, and before they knew it, they could cook just about anything. As they ate, Wyatt started telling Chloe and Sophie embarrassing stories about him and Leo from middle and high school. It started as fond reminiscing, but soon devolved into them trading insults and revealing each other's most cringe-worthy moments, one story at a time, leaving the girls roaring with laughter. By the time Wyatt and Leo were nearly done eating, the girls had barely touched their food. Leo placed a pork rib in Sophie's bowl. You have no idea, he said to the table. Last night, she was boiling pasta and asked me if you put it in the water before or after it boils. I mean, what would she do if something ever happened to me? Hearing this, Sophie huffed. I find a new boyfriend, that's what. It was clearly meant to tease him. But Leo didn't get angry. He just looked at her, his eyes soft. Okay, just make sure you find someone who won't bully you. You're too easy to take advantage of. His words hit Sophie like a ton of bricks. Her eyes reddened. You're sick, she mumbled. Why would you say something like that? Wyatt secretly nudged Chloe under the table. Chloe immediately jumped in. Yeah, what are you talking about? We're all going to be fine. There's no what if. My bad, Leo said quickly. I won't say it again. Wyatt just watched quietly. When Chloe finished eating, he tactfully got up and let her out, giving the couple their space. On the way back to the hotel, Chloe spoke up. Dork. When are we going to live together? Like them. You still have classes. When you're a senior and your schedule frees up, we can. The way you say that makes me want to drop out of college right now. In the dance studio of a New York City talent agency, the room echoed with counts. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Use your hips. More power. Liam, how many times have I told you? Watch your expression when you dance. Do you think baring your teeth like that is attractive? Let's go again. 5, 6, 7, 8. Good, that's it. Everyone, learn from Trevor. 20 minutes later, the instructor clapped his hands. All right, that's enough for today. You're off tomorrow, Sunday. Be back here Monday morning, 8 a.m. sharp. Thank you, teacher. After bowing in unison, the 20-odd trainees, all in their early 20s and drenched in sweat, collapsed onto the floor the moment the instructor left. Some chugged water, others wiped their faces with towels, while a few huddled together, complaining. Trevor took a sip of water. The guy next to him, Liam, scooted closer. You've danced before, haven't you? Yeah, I took some classes. I knew it. Liam continued. So, did you get recruited directly from an art school, or did a scout find you? I'm from a music conservatory. A conservatory? Yeah, why? Oh, nothing. I'm from the drama school, Trevor said. My girlfriend goes to a music conservatory. Liam chuckled humorlessly. A week at school flies by. Here, every day feels like a year. I don't think I'm going to last much longer. I'll probably just quit, but we just started. Liam glanced around, then leaned in, lowering his voice. I'm telling you, don't get your hopes up. A bunch of the guys training with us have guaranteed spots. I heard, and this is just a rumor, that next year, 3 of the big streaming services are launching their own survival shows. They give out a certain number of slots based on an agency's influence. This agency isn't even a second-tier player. We'll probably get a handful of spots, at best. Add in the guys who got in through connections, and the rest of us? We're just glorified practice dummies. Trevor's expression froze. After dropping that bomb, Liam patted Trevor's shoulder and walked away. Trevor knew the entertainment industry was ruthless, but he hadn't expected to experience its dark side before he even had one foot in the door. Rigged. Guaranteed spots. Practice dummies. The words churned in his gut like a ball of fire. He crushed the plastic water bottle in his hand, his eyes turning dark and resentful. Just then, a few of the connected trainees behind him started showing off their new designer sneakers. Listening to them, Trevor's face soured. He got up and stalked out of the studio. He pulled out his phone and texted Ashley. I'm off tomorrow. Want to see a movie in the afternoon? Ashley saw the message and replied quickly. Sounds good. Then she immediately sent another message. I'm having dinner with my friends tonight. Want to join? Trevor hesitated for a moment before agreeing. Back at the hotel, Chloe was scrolling through her phone. Ashley just invited us to dinner tomorrow night. She said Trevor is coming too. Did she post it in the group chat? Yeah. Wyatt thought for a moment, then picked up his phone and typed in their group chat at Ashley. Don't tell him who I am or who Michael is yet. Just say we're regular college students and one of us works an office job. Ashley replied with a single question mark. Wyatt didn't explain. He just told her to do as he said. After she sent back an okay, he put his phone down. Chloe, having seen the chat, asked him why. If Ashley tells him who we are, he'll be on guard, Wyatt explained. I'm worried I won't be able to get anything out of him tomorrow night. How are you planning to do that? I'll play it by ear. Haven't really thought it through yet. My mom's video calling me. Answer it. Chloe patted the spot next to her on the bed. Sit here with me. Why? Because whenever you're around, she ends up talking to you the whole time anyway. Wyatt obediently sat down. When the call connected, Miranda's face appeared on the screen. She was also in a hotel, fresh out of the shower and wearing a deep red silk pajama set. She looked even better than she had the year before, a testament to the difference between a woman who is loved and one who is not. Have you two eaten? Miranda asked. We just got back, Chloe said. You're wearing so many layers. Is it that cold in New York? It's fine indoors, Wyatt chimed in. But the wind outside is brutal. Have you been over to your Aunt Elaine's house this week? We're planning on going tomorrow morning. You should go see them when you have time, Miranda said with a knowing smile. Help out with the baby. Think of it as practice for when you have your own. Chloe instantly caught her mother's meaning. She pouted and moved half her face out of the camera's view. Wyatt, shameless as ever, grinned. Oh, I'll adapt just fine. It's Chloe, we need to get used to it. Chloe rolled her eyes, gave Wyatt a light shove, and got up to take a shower. Wyatt chatted with Miranda for another 20 minutes, talking about everything and nothing. After hanging up, he saw Chloe was already lying in bed. He put his phone down and went to take a shower himself. When he came out, the room was dark except for the faint glow of a single pendant light hanging over the bed. Wyatt rubbed his hands together and slipped under the covers. How have you been lying here this long and the bed is still cold? Are you going to talk to me? Playing the silent game. Are we? Don't bother me. I'm already asleep. Well then, I'd better check if you're really asleep. With that, Wyatt reached for her. Chloe squirmed away. Hey, don't touch me. For once, Wyatt decided to play hard to get. He turned over, grabbed his phone, and huffed. Fine. I won't. He was thinking about his new business. Mobile apps were a pain. He was planning to create a gaming platform, like Steam or the Epic Game Store, but for mobile. It would be an aggregated hub for mini-games. That way, if the platform itself was successful, he wouldn't have to spend a fortune on advertising every time a new game was released. He unlocked his phone and started browsing the App Store's top charts, downloading the top 3 mini-games to try them out. Seeing Wyatt engrossed in his phone, Chloe started to get annoyed. She asked, feigning ignorance, "What are you doing?" "Playing a game." "Why are you playing games at a time like this?" "It's only 8:30. I can't sleep, and you won't let me touch you. What else am I supposed to do?" "So, I tell you not to touch me, and you just listen? When did you become so obedient?" "Hug me. Now. I'm counting to 3. Fine, fine. I'm hugging you. I swear, you're impossible." "Happy now?" Wyatt murmured, wrapping his arms around her. "You needy little goblin." Ashley spent the morning alone in her dorm. Around 2 in the afternoon, she slung a bag over her shoulder and headed for the subway station. When she arrived, Trevor was already waiting by the entrance. The moment he saw her, he waved eagerly. As she approached, he met her with a bright smile. "You look really beautiful today." The direct compliment almost caught Ashley, who had never dated before, completely off guard. But thanks to years of watching her friends' relationships, she managed to keep her expression neutral, despite the little flutter in her chest. "Have you been waiting long?" "Nope, I just got here. We said 2:15, and you're not late. We should head down then." "Okay." They rode the escalator down into the station, chatting as they went. Trevor spent most of the time complaining about how tiring and demanding the trainee program was. Ashley wasn't particularly interested in the topic. After her dinner with Wyatt on Friday, she was now consciously trying to steer the conversation toward Trevor's family and friends, but for some reason, he kept avoiding the subject. When they emerged from the subway, the movie theater was on the top floor of the mall right next to the station. They went in at 3 and didn't get out until 5. "It's still early. Want to hit the arcade?" Trevor suggested. "Sure." Trevor led her to the arcade, and after exchanging some cash for tokens, they stood in front of a row of claw machines. "You know, there's a trick to these things. Watch and let me show you." Trevor seemed to be a regular at places like this. He enthusiastically began demonstrating his claw machine skills, but Ashley was already on Yelp, looking for a good restaurant in the mall for their group dinner. Though she and her roommates often hung out with Wyatt, Michael, and Leo's crew, it was usually one of the guys who planned and paid. Today was the first time she was hosting, so her mind was focused on the evening's meal. After picking a restaurant, Ashley sent the location to their group chat. Michael, Wyatt, and Leo all had cars, so it wouldn't take them long to get there. Tucking her phone back in her bag, she said, "I just messaged my friends. Should we head to the restaurant and wait for them? But we still have tokens left. We can come back after dinner." "All right." Trevor pocketed the tokens and followed her toward the restaurant. Seeing how hurried she seemed, he chuckled. "There's no need to rush. You just sent them a message. They probably won't be here for a while. I already told them we have a big group. I'm worried we won't get a table. So what do your friends do?" "They?" Ashley suddenly remembered Wyatt's instructions from the night before. "2 of them are in our year, college students. The other one has already graduated and is working. Oh, and the 3 of them are my roommates' boyfriends." "All 3 of your roommates have boyfriends?" "Yep. So that makes you the only single one in your dorm?" Ashley just nodded. Seeing this, Trevor smiled. "Then you should be my girlfriend. That way, you won't be single anymore." The words hung in the air. Ashley stopped walking. She had considered he might say something like this, but she never imagined it would be in such a casual, almost joking tone. The confession she had pictured was supposed to be formal, serious. So, she didn't accept. She just said, rationally, "We've only known each other for a short time." Trevor was an expert at reading people. He immediately backpedaled. "You're right. In that case, I'll temporarily take back what I just said." Ashley nodded, seemingly satisfied with his answer. They walked into the restaurant together. As luck would have it, there was only one private room left. Ashley went in, sat down, and kept her phone out, watching the group chat. Wyatt and Leo drove over together, intentionally waiting a bit for Michael, who arrived shortly after. The 6 of them met in the mall's parking garage, chatted briefly, and then rode the elevator up together. "Is that the place?" "Yeah, that's it." The group of 6 walked in. A hostess greeted them and led them to the private room. Wyatt pushed the door open and saw Ashley and Trevor sitting inside. Trevor was undeniably good-looking, the kind of guy who would turn heads in a crowd. Seeing everyone had arrived, Ashley stood up. "You guys are finally here." Isabel glanced at her phone. "What do you mean, finally? You sent the message 30 minutes ago. I'd say we got here pretty fast." Trevor wasn't shy, figuring that aside from Michael, who looked a bit older, Wyatt and Leo were a year younger than him. He took the initiative. "Hey everyone, I'm Trevor." "Hey, I'm Wyatt. This is Leo, and that's Michael. Let's all sit." There are exactly 8 seats. Trevor waved for everyone to sit down and called the waiter over to order. Because Sophie was now living with Leo, she didn't know much about the situation with Ashley and Trevor. But Chloe had filled her in on the way over. Everyone at the table knew the score. After sitting down, Leo and Michael stayed quiet. Wyatt ordered the food, and once the waiter left, he started the conversation. Ashley mentioned you've already signed with a talent agency. Yeah, that's impressive. You could be a huge star someday. Trevor answered humbly. It's not that simple. I'm just a trainee. Not even 1 in 10 trainees actually makes it, and the competition has gotten even fiercer these past couple of years. So what are you guys majoring in? Finance. I'm in business management. Finance is great. You make good money after graduation. I'm just in a crappy state school program, not Fordham or NYU, Wyatt said with a self-deprecating shrug. I regret picking this major. I hear it's hard to find a job in finance without connections. Yeah, Trevor agreed. It's hard to do anything without connections. Are you from the North? Wyatt asked. Your accent sounds a lot like one of my roommates. Trevor paused for a beat before answering. I guess you could say that. My cousin goes to your school. My school? Trevor looked surprised. Wyatt nodded. Yeah, NYU Tisch, right? Right. For some reason, after that exchange, Trevor seemed distracted. Wyatt didn't push any further. He could feel that Trevor was extremely guarded. A normal person, when asked if they were from the North or South, would name their state or city. Trevor hadn't. There was no point in pressing the issue. When the food arrived, the group shifted to other topics. Half an hour later, seeing that everyone was about done, Ashley picked up her phone to go pay the bill. Wyatt saw her and asked, feigning ignorance, Where are you going, Ashley? To the restroom, and I'll grab the check on the way. Let Michael get it. No. Ashley smiled. It's not often I get to treat you guys. It's my turn. There will be plenty of other chances for you to pay. Wyatt had said that to test Trevor, but seeing him sit there, completely unmoved, Wyatt didn't press the matter. He thought to himself that if it were Sophie in Ashley's place and Leo in Trevor's, Leo would have fought to pay the bill, even if he didn't have a dime to his name. That was just the kind of guy Leo was. He'd rather eat ramen for a week than let Sophie pay for a date. After dinner, the 6 of them made an excuse and left together. As they waved goodbye to Ashley and stepped into the elevator, Michael pulled out a pack of gum, handing a piece to everyone. That guy, he said, he feels a little shady. How so? He was so friendly at first, but there was this natural sense of superiority in the way he talked, Michael explained. And when you said you went to a crappy state school, the smile on his face was genuinely mocking. Then at the end, when the check came, he didn't make a peep. Even if they're not official yet, that's just not right. Isabel nodded in agreement. Exactly. Wyatt chuckled. And he's extremely cautious. I don't know if you noticed, but when he unlocked his phone, he used a numerical password, probably 8 or 9 digits long. Most of us use a fingerprint or a pattern lock because numbers are inconvenient. Also, when I asked him if he was from the North or South, a normal person would just say where they're from. He didn't. And finally, when I said my cousin went to his school, his first reaction was to freeze up. That's not normal. No one had noticed all the details, but after Wyatt laid it all out, the pieces clicked into place. Sophie quickly said, so if you're all right, then this Trevor guy is really bad news. Shouldn't we tell Ashley to stop seeing him? If we tell her now, she might not listen, Wyatt said. But when you girls get back to the dorm, you can tell her what I said. Even if it doesn't make the final decision for her, it'll at least be a warning bell. And don't worry too much. He's in that closed training program at the agency, so Ashley won't have many chances to see him anyway. Okay. Sophie, realizing she hadn't stayed at the dorm in a while and had an A.M. class the next day, said to Leo as the elevator doors opened, Leo, I think I'll stay at the dorm tonight. All right, I'll walk you back. 6 people, 3 cars. They drove back to campus. After Leo dropped Sophie off, he headed back to his apartment. Michael waited a moment for Isabel, Chloe, and the others to go upstairs, then walked over to Wyatt. What have you been busy with lately? Working on a couple of new projects. What kind of projects? That's a secret. You son of a bitch. Trying to get rich on the sly again, are you? Wyatt laughed. I don't know if I'll get rich, but I'd rather be busy than bored. Just messing around. Did you sell off another chunk of your bike share stock? I did. Wyatt nodded. I plan to sell off my stake in 3 batches before the end of the year. The first batch was the smallest, just got around 20 million for it. For the second and third batches, my investment manager says I should be able to get at least 150 million. Damn, kid, you really hit the jackpot. Remembering he had sold a stake to Apex Capital last year and that the bike sharing company was due to implode in 2018, Wyatt added, It's not that I want to sell. I've just been seeing a lot of negative news about the company online. I'm afraid if I don't get out now, I won't have another chance. Michael's brow furrowed. He decided he needed to tell his uncle what Wyatt had just said. All right, it's getting late. I gotta go. See ya. Yeah. Wyatt's 8 quickly disappeared into the night. A new week began. Wyatt had 3 things on his to-do list. First, he needed to think through the design of the Ark Interactive gaming platform and what features it should have. Second, he had to flesh out the gameplay and rules for the 2 mini-games, Leapfrog and Flock Off. Third, he had to continue recruiting. Normally, the first 2 tasks would fall to a product manager, but no one was more suited for the job than Wyatt. For one, he had used countless versions of similar apps, and for another, he had played both games himself. The tasks weren't difficult for him. Ark Interactive's office was on the floor above Deadless Robotics, and both leases were only for a year. By this time next year, their own office building would be complete, and all 3 companies would move in together. After setting his plan, Wyatt often spent the entire day in the office. It only took him 2 days to define the basic framework of the gaming platform. Like most social apps, it would have 3 main tabs at the bottom: Home, to display the game list, Messages for online chat, and Me for personal information and achievements. With the framework set, Wyatt continued to fill in the details. He wanted to create the most thorough design document possible to save the programmer's time later. On Thursday, Wyatt went to a job fair at NYU. Since it was in the city, he brought Abby Zhang along. After a day and a half of recruiting, he returned for the weekend, and on Monday, he went to Columbia. Having learned from his previous experiences, Wyatt was smarter this time. He had Fei Zhan print the speech he gave at Carnegie Mellon on a large banner. It was highly effective. No one had heard of Ark Interactive, but everyone knew investments. The moment they connected the two, applicants assumed the new gaming company must be well-funded. The rest of the recruiting events went smoothly. March passed by in a blur. The first day of April was sunny and bright, and it also happened to be a Saturday. Wyatt woke up early. He stood by the window, sipping from a thermos filled with tea and goji berries, watching the world outside. When the time was right, he put the thermos down, walked to the bed, and gently pinched Chloe's cheek. Time to wake up, sleepyhead. Chloe had been awake for a while, but she didn't want to ruin the peaceful moment, so she'd stayed in bed. She opened her eyes, looked up at him with a grin, and asked, "You know how you open an Oreo by twisting it and dunking it? Do you know how to open me?" "Of course I do," he said, leaning down. "With kisses and hugs." "Correct." The beginning of the month marked the Easter holiday, giving the schools a 3-day weekend. Wyatt spent a night near the music conservatory, and the next morning, he and Chloe drove out to their new house, which was still under renovation. The demolition and initial plumbing and electrical work were finished, and the self-leveling concrete for the floors had been poured. Wanting a cozier feel, they had decided on tile for the first-floor common areas and bathrooms, but hardwood for the second and third floors. Wyatt asked about the schedule. The construction company said the tiling would be done by mid-April, with the ceilings and custom cabinetry starting in late April. By the end of May, most of the major work would be finished, and they could begin the final touches in June. Satisfied with the plan, Wyatt did a quick walkthrough of the house before taking Chloe to his new offices. As they got out of the car, Chloe looked up at the building with a frown. "I thought your office was in that building over there. Why do we park here?" "These are for the 2 new companies, Deadless Robotics and Ark Interactive," he explained. "They officially start after the holiday. I just wanted to check on the prep work." "Oh." Since it was a holiday, the office building was nearly empty. They took the elevator up to Deadless Robotics first. The office was ready, but Carter Liu and his team had converted the conference room into a lab, now filled with all sorts of manufacturing equipment Wyatt didn't recognize. He peeked in from the doorway before taking Chloe's hand and heading upstairs to Ark Interactive. The equipment there had been arriving throughout the previous month. Because the work involved intensive coding, every computer was a high-end, expensive model. The open floor plan was divided into 2 main areas, with a row of private offices down the middle. Seeing that everything was in place, Wyatt took out his phone to call Dexter Duan, but then remembered Chris had said the guy hated phone calls. Instead, he sent a text. "Come by the office the morning after the holiday ends. We'll have our first meeting." Dexter replied instantly with a single word: "Okay." In March, Wyatt had visited 4 universities, Carnegie Mellon, NYU, Columbia, and Penn, and had given out 51 job offers. For various reasons, only 46 had accepted. The majority of them were programmers, with a mix of UI/UX designers, software testers, and other roles. Deadless Robotics wouldn't produce any tangible results for a while, so of the 2 companies, Wyatt was placing more importance on Ark Interactive. On the first day back after the holiday weekend, Wyatt woke up early and drove his A8 to the Ark Interactive office, arriving a little after 8. Many of the new hires, excited for their first day, were already there. By 9 o'clock, almost everyone had arrived. Even though Wyatt had given him a heads up, Dexter, a creature of the night, was the last to walk in, right on the dot. There are office supplies at every workstation, Wyatt announced. I'll give you all 5 minutes to pick your desks. After that, grab a pen and paper and meet in the conference room. Wyatt went into the conference room, pulled a USB drive from his pocket, and plugged it into the projector. Dexter was the first to stroll in, lazily picking a seat. 5 minutes later, the rest of the energetic young graduates filed in. The room was packed, and many had to grab chairs from outside. Is everyone here? Wyatt asked. The new hires looked around at each other and nodded. Wyatt got straight to the point. Normally, on the first day, the boss is supposed to give you a big pep talk and sell you on a dream. I think that's a waste of time. As your boss, I'll do my job. You do yours. That's all that matters. As long as you have the ability, I will give you the salary to match. Here, your contribution and your compensation will be equal. All right, let's get down to business. Everyone, look at the projector. Ark Interactive is your first assignment. It's a mobile gaming platform. I'm not a programmer or a product manager, but based on my own understanding, I've written up the requirements in this document. I think you'll all be able to understand it. Here, this is the homepage framework I've drawn up. Top left is the user's avatar and username. Below there are the game rankings, store, events, and so on. And below that is the game list. Our company's mission from here on out is to fill this platform with as many games as possible. I've basically mapped out the entire software interface as I envision it, including the secondary and even tertiary screens. Dexter, based on your experience, how long would this take to build? Dexter stared at the screen, his answer concise. A mature software company could do it in a month. With me leading these rookies, at least 2. Good? Then I'll give you 2 months. In 2 months, I expect a finished product with 100% fidelity to this design. A wave of pressure washed over the room. But the meeting wasn't over. Wyatt opened another presentation. The title slide showed the names of 2 mini-games, Leapfrog and Flock Off. Wyatt quickly explained the rules and gameplay of each, then tossed another question to Dexter. How long for these 2 games? Dexter replied, Leapfrog a week at most. The other one is a bit more complex, maybe 20 days. Excellent. Wyatt nodded, satisfied. It's early April now. I'm giving you 3 months, April, May, and June. We'll launch the platform in early July. Technical problems, you go to Dexter. Any other issues, you come to me. I'm not installing a time clock in this office. It's simple. If you complete these 3 tasks by the end of June, you all get bonuses. If you don't, you can forget about bonuses and your year-end payout. Any questions? After a moment of silence, he said, If not, the conference room is yours. With that, Wyatt stood up and left. The group immediately turned their gaze to Dexter. They all knew from their technical interviews that he was a coding master. From now on, they would follow his lead. I'll write the overall architecture, Dexter said. Split yourselves into groups. I'll assign you module tasks. When you're done, send me the code. Got it. Everyone make a copy of this document. All departments will work in parallel. The boss gave us 3 months, which means we only have 2. Seeing they were already deep in discussion, Wyatt left the office. That evening, as soon as Wyatt got back to his dorm, Alex walked over with a box of wafer cookies, a sycophantic grin on his face. The moment Wyatt saw that look, he knew the guy wanted something. An unsolicited gift means you're either a thief or up to no good, Wyatt said with a smirk. Spit it out. What do you want my help with? Alex licked his lips. On April 12th, Renee's jewelry store is opening a new branch in the city. She'll be here. Can you come with me to drop off a flower arrangement or something? No. Whoa, man. You couldn't have said no faster. If you want to go, go yourself. Why are you dragging me into it? I've got a mountain of work to do. I'll buy you dinner. Why are you so insistent that I go with you? If you're feeling insecure, I can let you borrow my car. But you know as well as I do that there's a huge financial gap between you two. You think bringing me along is going to make you feel better about it? Yes. Wyatt was genuinely surprised by the blunt answer. He took a wafer cookie and turned to Alex. Fine, I'll go with you. But I'm not guaranteeing I'll make an appearance. Deal. Fearing Wyatt would change his mind, Alex quickly added, It's a date then. The morning of the 12th, we'll go together. After assigning the tasks at Ark Interactive, Wyatt stepped back and let them work. It was the same at Deadless Robotics, where Carter's team was deep in their own research, though they had recently hired 3 new people, which Carter had cleared with Wyatt via text. Over at Investments, the firm's reputation had grown to the point where they were now getting a steady stream of inbound pitches. The early days of begging entrepreneurs to come in were long gone. Wyatt still didn't interfere with Carter and Sam's analysis, only offering his opinion during the final vote. On the evening of the 11th, Wyatt and Chris returned to their dorm to find Alex standing in his underwear, trying on a new outfit he'd bought online. Chris drawled, Well, look at you in a brand new Nike tracksuit. Did you come into some money, Mr. Young? Wyatt saw what was happening, but said nothing. Alex could talk all he wanted about how he and Renee were from different worlds, but it was obvious he had fallen for her. Despite their 9-year age gap, Renee was a world away from Lily. She was gentle, understanding, cultured, and considerate, basically flawless. Alex, now fully dressed in the tracksuit, looked down at himself and asked, "What do you think? Does this look okay?" Wyatt nodded. "Looks good." Satisfied, Alex took the new clothes off. Wyatt took a shower first. After washing his clothes and getting ready for bed, Alex reminded him again, "Wyatt, don't forget you're coming with me tomorrow morning to drop off the flowers." "Don't worry, I won't forget." Chris checked the time and smiled. "How come Sam's been coming back so late every night? You don't think he and Abby are?" "You know the answer, so why ask?" Man, he finally figured it out. It's a miracle. Wyatt lay in bed and sent a video call request to Chloe. Then he yelled down to Alex, who was watching Stranger Things on his laptop. "Dude, turn the volume down." Alex silently lowered the volume and put on his headphones. The next morning, Alex, usually the last to wake up, was the first one out of bed. He brushed his teeth, washed his face, and even washed his hair. The sound of the hairdryer woke up all 3 of his roommates. "Alex, what the hell are you doing?" Alex ignored them, admiring his hair in the mirror. Once he was ready, he walked over to Wyatt's bed and whispered, "Wyatt, Wyatt." Wyatt knew it was a big day for Alex, so even though he'd been woken up at the crack of dawn, he didn't complain. He just quietly got up and dressed. Then he took Alex to the dining hall. "Don't be in such a hurry," Wyatt said. "Grand openings usually don't start until 9 or 10. We're early, but don't we have to order a flower arrangement? The flower shop will have pre-made ones. We could just buy one when we get there. If you go too early, she won't have time to talk to you anyway. Haven't you seen movies? The hero always shows up last." Wyatt's words placated Alex completely. They ate a leisurely breakfast, then headed to a flower shop. The arrangements were indeed ready-made, but they usually came with a card bearing the sender's name. After finding 2 cards that said grand opening and best of luck, the shop owner asked, "Do you want me to write the names, or will you?" "Just write his name," Wyatt said quickly. Alex nodded. "My name is Alex Young." Once the owner finished writing, they took the arrangements back to the car. Wyatt checked the time. "Do you know the address?" "Yeah, she sent it to me. It's in Soho." Alex showed him the address on his phone. Wyatt copied it into his GPS and chuckled. "It's only 20 minutes away. Pretty close. Should I give her a heads up?" "No need." "Okay." Renee's family jewelry store had an elegant name, Aquous Gems. It had started out specializing in pearl jewelry, hence the name, but later expanded to include gold, silver, and jade when suppliers came calling. In Connecticut, Aquous Gems already had 5 locations. The one opening today was their first out-of-state branch. Both Renee and her father, Dayne, were taking this expansion very seriously. Renee had already decided to move to New York to manage the store personally, though she hadn't told Alex yet. The store was located on a corner of a busy commercial street. The interior was already decorated, and a red carpet was rolled out in front. Dayne had planned to come, but a last-minute cold had forced him to cancel. So, at that moment, the only person greeting guests besides the staff was Renee, who was busy with the final details of the opening. Wyatt parked on the street and saw Renee from a distance. Alex suddenly got nervous again. "Get out of the car." Alex made an excuse. "I can't carry both of these by myself. You have to come with me." "You coward. I'll buy you dinner tonight. Come on, let's go together." Wyatt unbuckled his seatbelt. He and Alex got out, each holding a large floral arrangement, and walked toward the store. Renee was busy giving instructions to a staff member and didn't notice them approaching until, "Congratulations on the opening, boss." Wyatt had been nudging Alex for a full minute, but the guy wouldn't speak, so Wyatt had to take the lead. Renee turned her head. Seeing Wyatt and Alex, she looked pleasantly surprised. "What are you guys doing here?" Wyatt set down the flower arrangement and slung an arm around Alex's shoulder. "I was busy, but this guy dragged me here." Well, please come in." Renee led them inside. After a few minutes of chatting, more guests arrived at the door, and she had to excuse herself. Wyatt seized the moment. "After the ceremony, maybe you should stay here, and I'll head back alone." "What would I do here? She might be going back to Connecticut tomorrow. Aren't you going to talk to her?" Alex shook his head frantically. "No way, it's too awkward. You're a grown man. If you like someone, you pursue them. You can't just expect them to chase you. Keep your voice down. You're the type of person who's destined to die alone." Alex whispered, "It's not the right time. What if she already has a boyfriend? Then we couldn't even be friends." "That's easy." Just then, Renee walked back over. Wyatt looked up with a grin. "Renee, can I ask you something?" "Of course." Wyatt smiled. "Do you have a boyfriend?" Renee paused for 2 seconds, then shook her head with a smile. Wyatt nodded. then patted Alex on the shoulder. Good to know. He made me ask. Alex's eyes went wide, his face turning the color of a ripe tomato. The opening ceremony was brief. As a newcomer to the city, Aquous Gems didn't draw a huge crowd. Afterward, the store officially opened for business. Once Renee finished with her work, she finally came over to Wyatt and Alex. Were your families happy with the jewelry I helped you pick out last time? I'm not going home until Memorial Day, so I'll give them the necklaces then, Wyatt said. But my girlfriend loves hers. Alex looked abashed. It was the first time I'd ever given my mom something so expensive. She was so moved, she almost cried. Renee sat down nearby, crossing her legs. She did it differently than most people, her calves pressed neatly together, a picture of elegance. It's Wednesday. How did you get out of your morning classes to come here? Wyatt, not wanting to steal the spotlight, let Alex answer. We only had one class this morning, and the professor rarely takes attendance, Alex explained. Wyatt, who hadn't been to a single class since the semester started and had been granted special permissions by the dean, added with a meaningful look, he's a special case. He'd have to be, Renee said, her gaze sharp. Who would have thought the boss of C? Investments was a 21-year-old college student. Wyatt said, age doesn't mean anything. Most people who do business with me find me quite mature. I'm already getting that impression. Renee wasn't conventionally beautiful, but she possessed an innate air of nobility, the kind of je sais quoi that comes from a privileged upbringing. It was a quality that might intimidate strangers, but once you got to know her, she was incredibly easy to get along with. She continued, by the way, I'm going to be living in New York from now on. I'll be managing this store. Mr. Wyatt, you know a lot of people. I'd appreciate it if you could send some business my way. No problem. Also, Renee paused, creating a moment of suspense. Wyatt played along. You could just say what's on your mind. There's one other thing I was hoping you could help me with. Go. I'd like you to introduce me to the owner of YW. I've seen that they use pearls on many of their lingerie designs, and I was wondering if there might be a possibility for collaboration. I have pearls of every quality, and my prices are definitely lower than the competition's. Plus, if they have another fashion show, I'd be happy to provide jewelry for free. Wyatt smiled. To put it bluntly, you want to use YW's fame to advertise your brand. Renee didn't deny it, nodding graciously. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. That's a small matter. The lady boss of YW is in New York right now. I'll set up a dinner and introduce you two sometime. Renee's face lit up. Great. I'm available anytime. Wyatt patted Alex's back. I'll have Alex send you the time and place. You could just show up then. Perfect. This was, of course, a matter that had nothing to do with Alex. By mentioning him, Wyatt was sending a clear message. I'm only helping you because of him. Renee wasn't foolish. She surely understood his meaning. Wyatt and Alex stayed until about 10:40. Seeing it was getting late, Wyatt gave Alex a look. Alex took the hint and stood up. Renee, we should get going. You're not staying for lunch. No, we better not. Anyway, you'll be in New York from now on. I'm sure we'll have plenty of chances to see each other. You're right. In that case, I won't see you out. Bye. Bye. The moment they walked out of Aquous Gems, Alex was so excited he looked like he was about to jump out of his skin. Wyatt rolled his eyes. Look at you, all pathetic. She agreed when I said we could see each other often. Does that mean we can? Yeah. Don't forget the favor she asked you for. Alex, I'm only doing this for you. If anyone else had asked for this favor, I wouldn't have even bothered. Alex gave sheepish grin. Come on, we're bros. Get lost. Alex had no grand ambitions. His biggest dream was to pass the civil service exam after graduation, find a woman he loved, and live a quiet, stable life. During his freshman year, he had come to understand a simple truth. People are not born equal. Wyatt's intelligence, Chris's family wealth, Sam's academic prowess. These were things he could only dream of. In many ways, Alex was the epitome of the average college student. He felt it was a stroke of incredible luck just to be roommates with those three. His failed relationship with Lily had also taught him that a normal, healthy relationship wasn't as simple as it seemed. After Lily, despite saying things like, I'd rather die than date again, a guy who had wanted a girlfriend since the first day of freshman year was never going to give up that easily. So, from the moment he walked out of Aquous Gems, Alex was on cloud nine. On the way back, he rolled down the car window and hummed a song the entire ride. After 2 afternoon classes, he got on the electric scooter he'd bought for the fruit stand business and rode to the Vibe building. When he got to the office, Wyatt was still working. He looked up with a frown. What are you doing here? I promised I'd buy you dinner tonight, remember? Go see if Chris and Sam are done. I need a little more time. Okay. Alex went to find them. When Chris heard Alex was treating, he immediately grinned. No way. Did the sun rise in the west today? A cheapskate like you is actually buying dinner. Shut up. I was only going to treat Wyatt. He's the one who told me to invite you and Sam. You're something else. When Alex found Sam, he learned that Sam already had plans with Abby. They had just gotten together and were in that can't get enough of each other phase. He naturally had no interest in having dinner with Alex. So that evening, minus Sam, the trio of Alex, Wyatt, and Chris went to a dive bar with a great patio not far from campus. Wyatt and Chris had both driven, so they couldn't drink. Alex, however, whether out of pure joy from the day's events or a genuine craving, ordered himself several beers. The three of them hadn't hung out like this in a long time. As they talked, the sky grew dark. By the time Wyatt and Chris were finishing up, Alex was completely wasted, slurring his words and talking nonsense. Great. The guy buying dinner is drunk. Looks like we're paying, Wyatt sighed. He and Chris hauled Alex to the car. On the drive back to campus, Alex suddenly yelled, "Stop the car." Wyatt slammed on the brakes. Alex scrambled out, ran to a nearby trash can, and started throwing up. Chris got out and walked over to Wyatt. What's wrong with him? I don't know. He was cursing out Lily in the car a minute ago. Probably remembered something that upset him. That guy. As they were talking, Alex, having emptied his stomach, did something completely unexpected. He dropped to his knees on the sidewalk, faced a storefront, and dramatically yelled a line from Stranger Things. "Friends don't lie. I'm here for the medicine." Wyatt and Chris both looked up at the store Alex was kneeling in front of. It was a GNC. Chris immediately said, "Maybe we should just get back in the car. This is way too embarrassing." When Alex woke up the next morning, he had forgotten everything about the previous night. He had no idea that the incident would become a running joke among his friends for years to come. That Friday afternoon, Wyatt left work early and drove over to Vivian's office. As luck would have it, Tanya Yuan was in the office giving a report. After YW moved to New York, Vivian and Tanya had immediately paid a visit to Elaine's home. Although being a new mom was exhausting, Elaine still had plenty of free time and had kept up her habit of sketching designs. Since last year, she had created over a dozen new pieces for YW. Just yesterday, she had messaged Tanya to come over. Tanya had spent most of the day at Elaine's and had come straight to Vivian's office upon her return, and Wyatt had arrived at the exact same time. If last year's collections, Cascade, Azure, Mist, and Abyss, had a strong classic American flair, then this year's new designs were all about luxury. With over a decade of experience designing for top luxury brands, no one knew better than Elaine how to make clothing look high-end. This year's dozen or so new pieces were divided into two series, each with only two color schemes, and both had equally beautiful names. One was called Stardust, the other Riverbend. After reviewing the designs, Vivian quickly gave instructions. Go tell Hannah to notify the management team. We'll have a meeting in 15 minutes. And remember to give the factory a heads up. Got it. Tanya left the office. Wyatt stood beside Vivian, looking at a design on the computer screen, and suddenly laughed. Vivian was puzzled. What's so funny? A little while ago, I met a friend whose family owns a jewelry store, Wyatt explained. Her store's main focus is pearls. The Stardust series has two outfits that could use pearls. When you have time, should I set up a dinner for you all to meet? Is it a man or a woman? A woman, Wyatt chuckled. Why would I introduce you to a man? If Victor found out, he'd kill me. Oh, stop it. Vivian waved her hand dismissively. I have to go. He's probably on his way to pick me up. I need to hold this meeting and lay out the work for the new collection. It's only 5 o'clock. Vivian sighed wearily. I know, but his parents gave us a direct order. No overtime. We have to be home by 7. Wyatt laughed again. They're in a hurry for grandkids, huh? Vivian froze. She hadn't thought of it that way. She had genuinely believed her in-laws were just concerned about her working too hard. So that was their real meaning. No wonder. Judging by your expression, you really didn't know what they meant, did you? Vivian shot Wyatt a glare. Yes, you're the one who understands everything, you little devil. Wyatt shrugged. Well, good luck with that. I'm out of here. Vivian raised her fist playfully, but Wyatt had already turned and bolted. That jerk, she thought. What's there to wish me luck for? Vivian shook her head with a small smile, looked over the designs one last time, and then headed to the conference room. Weekends always seemed to fly by. After the initial excitement faded, Wyatt and Chloe's relationship settled into a comfortable rhythm, more like that of a young married couple. The thrilling surprises of the early days were gone, but their life together was sweet and full. What surprised Wyatt this weekend, however, was a message from Sam, asking where he usually went on weekends. Wyatt knew what Sam was really asking. Where should I take my girlfriend on a date? Wyatt replied quickly. Parks, art galleries, museums, hiking, movies, amusement parks. At night, you can check out the night markets. If you just want to talk, go to a coffee shop. Sam replied with a simple okay, and nothing more. Another week passed. As the end of the month approached, Wyatt finally had Alex arrange a meeting with Renee. They met at a restaurant on the waterfront. Coincidentally, Judy Yu was at the office, so Vivian brought her along. Renee brought a young assistant, and Wyatt, of course, brought Alex. "All right, let me make some introductions," Wyatt began. "This is Renee Fay from Connecticut. She's the manager of the Aquous Gems jewelry store. But if I'm not mistaken, her father is the owner." Renee smiled faintly but didn't explain, which was as good as a confirmation. Alex, however, was shocked. He had always thought Renee was just a manager. He had no idea the store was her family's business. "This is Vivien Pay, the owner of YW Lingerie and also my original lady boss." Before Wyatt could continue, Judy huffed. "Wyatt, only you could get away with saying that. If anyone else said it, I'd have to tell my brother on you." Hello, let's sit down and talk," Wyatt said. Judy cut in. "You haven't introduced me yet." Wyatt slapped his forehead as if he'd just remembered. My bad. This is the owner of the Aesthetica Beauty Center, Ms. Judy Yu, also the daughter of the Gold River Group's chairman, the one and only Miss Judy Yu. Of course, she's also my business partner. You could have just said my name. Wyatt, all the titles. It shows respect, doesn't it? Whatever. Renee now understood how Wyatt, at such a young age, had become so successful. With such a powerful network, it would be difficult not to succeed in a city like New York. Vivian knew the purpose of the dinner, so after sitting down, she got right to the point. "Wyatt mentioned your family is in the pearl business." "That's right. Do you have all kinds of pearls?" "Yes, we do. All shapes and colors. As for size, 7 to 9 millimeters are the most common. Anything over 10 millimeters is considered very rare. If there's a pearl we can't provide in this country, then there are probably very few who can. Could you leave me your business card? Someone from my company will contact you for samples." "Of course." Renee quickly retrieved a white business card from her bag and handed it to Vivian. Vivian took it, glanced at it, and put it in her own bag. At this point, the main purpose of the dinner had been achieved, but the social dance was far from over. Renee's age was right between Vivian's and Judy's. Her position as store manager was due not only to her family background, but also to her excellent interpersonal skills. With Wyatt as the middleman, she effortlessly struck up a conversation with both Vivian and Judy. As the meal was winding down, Vivian and Judy left a bit early. After seeing them to the door, Renee immediately returned to the private room. "Wyatt, could you send me the address of Judy's beauty center?" Wyatt instantly understood her meaning. Vivian was always busy. The best way to get closer to her was to go through Judy. If he were in her shoes, he would do the same. So Wyatt nodded quickly. "Of course. Thank you so much. You've been a huge help to me today." Wyatt patted the ever-silent Alex on the shoulder. "You should thank him. If it weren't for him, we never would have met in Pittsburgh, and this dinner would never have happened." Renee smiled. "I know that, of course." April flew by, and the weather grew warmer each day. On the last day of the month, Wyatt and Chloe boarded an Acelic train home. With Memorial Day tomorrow, the highways would be a nightmare, so Wyatt had booked train tickets well in advance. They left a little after 8 in the morning and arrived in Riverwood around 1 in the afternoon. Wyatt's dad, David, was there to pick them up. The car, an Audi A6, must have just been washed. It was gleaming, and the interior was filled with a faint, pleasant scent. Wyatt was surprised. After all the years his dad had smoked, he'd expected the car to reek of tobacco, but there was no smell at all. "How many days off do you two have for the holiday?" 3. "How's the house renovation coming along?" "It should be pretty much finished by the end of June. We'll let it air out for a few months to get rid of the chemical smells. Moving in by the end of the year shouldn't be a problem. Your mom is always talking about it. If you have time this summer, you should bring her over to stay for a while. Let her see the world a bit." Wyatt frowned. "Did mom quit her job?" David nodded. "You know that company of hers, always late with paychecks. Business hasn't been good the last couple of years. Your mom figured she's already paid into Social Security for 20 years, and the company was doing layoffs recently. She was afraid they'd let go of one of the younger girls in her department, so she volunteered to leave." Wyatt smiled. "She should have quit ages ago. She was thinking that you two are about to graduate, and when you get married and have kids, you'll need someone to help out. That's why she was so decisive this time." Chloe, who had been listening intently, quickly turned her gaze to the window. Riverwood wasn't a big city, and the train station wasn't far from their house. After parking, Wyatt took Chloe upstairs first while his dad handled the luggage. The moment he opened the door, he saw the dining table laden with 6 or 7 steaming hot dishes. His mom, Sarah, must have timed it perfectly. "Mom, Auntie, you're back. Come on, wash your hands and let's eat." Sarah and David hadn't eaten yet either. The family quickly sat down together. Halfway through the meal, Wyatt started giving Chloe a look. Chloe knew exactly what he meant. He wanted her to give Sarah the pearl necklace now. But she felt a bit shy and shot him a glare that seemed to say, "What's the rush?" Sarah, a seasoned observer, had already noticed their silent communication but didn't say anything. When they were all finished, she sent David to the kitchen to do the dishes and pulled Chloe onto the sofa for a heart-to-heart. As the two of them chatted away, Wyatt felt like a third wheel. He pulled out his phone, checked his work email, and replied to a few messages. Seeing the atmosphere was right, Chloe finally said, "Annie, wait a second. I brought you a gift." "A gift?" Chloe rushed to her suitcase, rummaged inside, and pulled out a jewelry box with the Aquous Gems logo on it, handing it directly to Sarah. Sarah paused, took the box, and opened it. A strand of exceptionally high-quality pearls lay inside. Sarah stared, speechless for a moment, then said, deeply moved, "Honey, is this for me?" "Yes. It's beautiful. It must have been very expensive, right?" Chloe shook her head, about to speak, when Wyatt finally chimed in from the side. "What does expensive have to do with her? It was your son's money anyway." "Shut up," Sarah and Chloe said in perfect, unspoken unison. Wyatt was dumbfounded. "Chloe, oh Chloe," he thought, "don't just learn my mom's good habits. Stop learning how to yell at me." Around 3 in the afternoon, Wyatt dropped Chloe off at Maple Creek Estates. Although Miranda worked out of town, she and Charles had gotten back together, and he had moved in. The house clearly showed signs of life. After briefly tidying up the upstairs bedroom, they went back down to the living room. Charles had found out that afternoon from Miranda that they were back, and he rushed home from work before quitting time. The moment he pushed the door open, he saw the two of them sitting on the sofa, heads leaning together, watching TV. In the past, even if Charles hadn't tried to stop it, he would have found the sight unbearable. But now he just smiled cheerfully. "You're back." "Yeah. When did you get in?" "Why didn't you tell me?" "We got around noon," Chloe explained. "I had lunch at his house, and then came over around 3:30 or 4. I told Mom." "Didn't she tell you?" "Your mom only told me this afternoon." Charles was about to take off his shoes when he remembered they were low on groceries. Miranda was coming home first thing in the morning, and he didn't want her to think he couldn't take care of Chloe by himself. He quickly said, "I'm going to the supermarket to get some things. You two stay for dinner tonight." "Okay." Charles drove off and returned half an hour later with bags full of groceries. He immediately got busy in the kitchen. "Uncle, need any help?" "Nope." Wyatt had only been polite. After Charles said no, he went right back to the sofa. Charles's attitude toward Wyatt had changed long ago. Sometimes his displeasure was only on the surface. Deep down, he had no real objections. He had seen Wyatt's transformation over the past few years. 99% of guys in their early 20s who achieved what Wyatt had would have let it go to their heads, but Wyatt hadn't. Charles admired that about him. Even more gratifying for Charles was that Wyatt and Chloe's relationship was as strong as ever. As a man himself, Charles knew this was not something everyone could achieve. Subconsciously, he had already accepted Wyatt as his future son-in-law. Charles's cooking skills were mediocre at best. It took him nearly an hour to prepare 3 dishes and a soup, but they were all Chloe's favorites. When the aroma of food filled the air, Chloe turned off the TV and went to the table with Wyatt. The three of them served themselves and sat down. Just as they were about to pick up their chopsticks, Charles said, "Wait a minute." Wyatt and Chloe exchanged confused glances. Charles took out his phone, stood up, found the best angle, and snapped a picture to send to Miranda to show off his handiwork. Only then did he smile. "Okay, eat." Chloe was a little speechless, but picked up her chopsticks and started eating. Miranda replied to the photo almost instantly. Every time his phone buzzed, Charles would immediately pick it up to type a response. Wyatt wanted to laugh. He's this old, and he's still acting like a teenager in love. Chloe was already used to it from the last holiday. As she was eating, she held up her bowl and said, "Dad, can you pass me a piece of the pork ribs?" Without a second thought, Wyatt picked up his chopsticks and placed a piece in her bowl. Charles watched, stunned, as Wyatt put the pork rib into his daughter's bowl. He was completely lost. "Wait, hold on. Didn't she just say Dad? Why are you giving her food?" A guilty Wyatt slipped away as soon as dinner was over. An equally guilty Chloe quickly went upstairs. The old father sat downstairs, alone and utterly bewildered. Since Leo hadn't come back from New York for the holiday, Wyatt had nowhere else to go. He took the rare opportunity to sleep in. When he got out of bed around 10, only his dad was on the sofa, scrolling through his phone. "Where's Mom?" "Out gossiping with the neighbors." After washing up, Wyatt put the leftover dumplings in the microwave. Once he'd eaten, he grabbed the keys to the Audi A6 from the table and headed for the door. His dad quickly asked, "Are you coming back for lunch?" "Not sure. Remember to text me first, so I know whether to make rice." "Got it. And drive carefully. Don't scratch my car." Wyatt rolled his eyes. If I scratch it, I'll buy you a new one. He drove his dad's car straight to Maple Creek Estates. The gate was open, so he parked and walked right in. Miranda and Charles were in the living room, one kneading dough and the other rolling it out. It looked like they were making dumplings. Chloe was sitting nearby in her pajamas, looking like she had also just woken up. Wyatt walked over. Don't they sell pre-made dumpling wrappers? Why are you making them yourselves? We asked a few stores, but they were all sold out, Miranda explained. We don't have anything else to do on a holiday, so we thought we'd try making them. That's so much work. Miranda, remembering their conversation, then asked, Wyatt, you already bought me a pearl necklace before. Why did you buy another one this time? Wyatt had indeed given her one before, but while it was expensive, its quality and size couldn't compare to the one from Aquous Gems. He'd probably been ripped off by the salesperson back then. Last time's gift was for last time, Wyatt explained. This time, I was on a business trip to Connecticut and met a jewelry store owner. This was her store's main product. I thought it looked much better than the one I bought before. I got one for my mom, and I figured if I got one for her, I had to get one for you too. You can always have one of them made into a bracelet. You shouldn't be spending money so recklessly. Spending money on you two isn't reckless. Charles was completely baffled, thinking, kid, where did you learn to be so smooth? Seeing Charles fumbling with the rolling pin, Wyatt walked over with a smile. Uncle, why don't I take over? Cooking was not Charles' strong suit, so he quickly gave up his spot. Wyatt sat down and began expertly rolling out the wrappers. Seeing Chloe just sitting there, he said, come and help. What are you doing just sitting there? Chloe pouted, but I don't know how. Then learn. Wyatt handed her a freshly rolled wrapper. Chloe took it and, indeed, began to imitate Miranda, trying to fold a dumpling. Seeing her clumsy attempts, Wyatt put down the rolling pin and started teaching her, his hands guiding hers. Charles looked at Miranda, then at Wyatt and Chloe, and felt an unexpected wave of happiness wash over him. While Wyatt and Chloe were enjoying their harmonious family moment, back in New York, Trevor and Ashley were standing in a mall, hesitating over where to eat lunch. Is there anything you're in the mood for? Trevor asked. I'm good with anything. You? Same here. Ashley pointed to a large digital display on the wall. There's a button on that screen. You press it, and it randomly picks a restaurant for you. Should we let fate decide? Sure. They walked over, and Ashley pressed the button for indecisive people. An indicator light started spinning like a slot machine. Finally, it landed on a high-end seafood buffet. They both stared at it for a moment. Trevor spoke first. That place is probably really expensive, right? Yeah, Ashley said. I went there once with my friends. It's about $45 a person. Trevor studied Ashley's expression, then said, maybe we should pick somewhere else. Seafood for lunch isn't a great idea anyway, and it's too expensive. Ashley was about to speak when Trevor suddenly adopted a somber tone. I'm sorry. It's just that I don't have a steady job yet, otherwise. It's fine, Ashley cut him off. Don't say that. Let's just eat there. My treat. You can treat me when you start earning money. Deal. When I'm rich, I'll take you to the coast to eat seafood, right by the ocean. Okay. In another mall, Sam looked at the food in front of them and asked awkwardly, is this kinda wrong? What's wrong with it? Leaving Rachel home alone while we're out here eating. Abby, hearing this, asked pointedly, if you feel so bad, you can invite her next time. The three of us can eat together. And then, Abby continued, the three of us can date together. I'll be your number one girlfriend, and she can be your number two. Even someone as dense as Sam could understand where she was getting at now. He quickly explained, that's not what I meant. I just feel like it's not very loyal. Oh, you're such a Boy Scout, Abby huffed. Don't worry. Rachel already knows about us. I asked her to come with us when I was leaving today. She's the one who didn't want to come. Oh, is that so? Stop smiling. What's so funny? Sam immediately wiped the smile off his face, sitting as primly as a high school student. Abby couldn't help but laugh. No wonder, mister. Wyatt always says you're not smooth when you handle things. You're so dense, you'll probably be stuck at the company for the rest of your life. No one would hire you if you tried to leave. Sam grinned. I never planned on leaving. Really? Of course. What about you? Are you thinking of leaving? Abby pouted, her tone proud. Am I crazy? Mister, Wyatt treats me so well. Why would I want to leave? True. Sam, Abby said, a new edge to her voice. I just said that. And you're not even jealous? Jealous? What's there to be jealous about? I just said, mister, Wyatt treats me so well. Sam finally caught on. I know you didn't mean it like that. Besides, Wyatt isn't that kind of person. So Wyatt isn't that kind of person, but I am. Huh? I didn't say that, Sam said, his face a mask of misery. He was suddenly realizing that relationships were a deep and complex subject, one he was clearly not skilled in. Seeing Sam's pathetic expression, Abby burst out laughing. She sighed. All right. Let's just eat. I'll stop teasing you. Sam nodded, then finally said, I'm not like them. I don't know how to say all the right things to make a girlfriend happy. But all you need to know is that I like you. He quickly lowered his head and focused on his food. Abby blinked, a wide, happy smile spreading across her face.